Facilitator?
Hold on, I'm facilitating.
Bear with me one moment, I'm facilitating. Okay, tell me when we're live, Cole.
I think we are.
No, that doesn't sound right. Let's wait another 45 to 50 minutes and then just assume we're live then. Hi, welcome to Roll Plus Bond. We're here raising money for medical aid for Palestine. It's a really good cause. And we're doing so by playing 72 ding-dang hours of tabletop role-playing games. So I hope you're here because you like it. And if you don't, that's really unfortunate. But I would like you to stick around, listen in, donate some stuff. You know, maybe chuckle at some of my jokes. That'd be appreciated. My name is Philo T. Hazard, or Fee T. Hazard, you know, as is your preference. I'm going to be facilitating a game of Violet Core here. But to begin with, I'm going to just, you know, read up with regards to, I'm going to crash my browser tab, which is a good start. And then I'm going to flag that, you know, we're here supporting medical aid for Palestinians, MAP. They've been working for the health and dignity of Palestinians living under occupation and as refugees for nearly 40 years. They are based out of Ramallah, Jerusalem, and Gaza City in occupied Palestine and Beirut as well. And they're performing primary health care, maternal and child health, psychosocial support, disability care, and emergency response as well. You know, gamers, friends, I know it's been a rough-ass year. I know it will probably continue to be a rough-ass year. But we are lucky in some ways, we are lucky in others, and you know, we come here once a year to look after those who are a little less fortunate than us. So if you're listening in, whether it's live or whether it's like, you know, 6 months down the line,
Hello, video on demand people.
Hello, video on demand people. That's the silent minority.
The VODers.
The Netflix people afterwards, yeah. Hello, and you know, whatever you're doing, whether it's as part of this campaign or not, you know, think about MAP in this trying time, and throw them, give them a couple of bucks. Anywho, right, we'll go around the table, we'll say hello, and then we'll talk about Violet Core a little bit. So, whose dulcet tones did we hear there first? Artibold.
That's me. What's going on? It's your boy Artie. I also go by Hyber, lots of different places, like on this screen right now. So that's me. That little yellow square is me. Hi. Artie, he, him pronouns. I like games, man.
Probably won't come up, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
for the record, I use she, her pronouns. Monica?
Yeah, hi, I'm Monica, she, her pronouns. I don't have much of an internet presence, so feel blessed to see me here.
Frankly, that sounds like a wonderful way to live. I'm incredibly jealous. And Reed?
Hi, my name is Reed. I use he, him, or they, them pronouns. Similarly, you cannot find me online, so I'm just happy to be involved.
I'm just happy to be here. Yeah, you can find me at Philo Hazard just about anywhere where good homosexuality is sold. I'm also on 2 Beam Saber actual play podcasts. If you like giant robots, which I have a sneaking suspicion you might, then maybe listen to Admiralty Blues and maybe listen to GlasCon. It's a 30-player actual play podcast. Good lord, is it a 30-player actual play podcast? How do you think that might escalate? Here's a clue. It does. Violet Core. It is a Heaven Will Be Mine alike. It is gay people and giant robots with sort of limitless power. It is having messy relationships while you're, you know, in an unmistakably powerful extension of your own form. It is, you know, plug-in headsets. It is Walkmans. It is giant robots in space in an alternate solar system. It should be a good time. Fingers crossed we're going to have a chill-ass time. We're going to play some Violet Core, and, you know, maybe some things will be violet. Who can say? Right. With all that unlimited power, can they shoot force lightning out of their hands? Wow, that's crazy. I'm going to mute Twitch chat. Artie, who are you playing today?
Who am I playing today? Who indeed? I am playing. I swear I have a character sheet somewhere. Yes. I'm playing Eridani. Her call sign is Hustle. She is the shining star. I think we're all playing people from the same faction, and I think there are a lot of like psychics and people with cool new type powers, and she does not have any. She's just a girl boss who's very good at what she does. We're thinking like star athlete, point guard kind of vibes here, varsity shit. And she looks really good when she does it.
Nice. And Monica, who are you? Oh, what are Eridani's pronouns? Did we hear those?
Oh, she her.
Ready?
Yeah, she her.
There we
Mhm.
go.
Yeah.
I thought I'd lost you for a second. That was stressful. Monica, who are you joining us with today?
I am going to be portraying Caroline Hayes today. She, her, or its pronouns. We mentioned that there were a lot of powerful, cool psychic princesses throughout the Reach, the faction we'll be playing today, and Caroline was one of them until she just happened to die a little bit. So they kind of thought she was a bit too valuable of an investment. They brought her back, put her in a robot body, and she is still working just as hard to be just as exceptional as she was. Describe her as mean, cold, and slutty.
Ooh, likewise, that's my adjective triangle, true. Reed.
I am playing Shrike, call sign Pigeon. Shrike is also a sort of genetically engineered special Wonderkin pilot who is a bit of a burnout and has never really vibed with the program, and instead of working hard and trying to succeed, likes to get in fights and slack off and wonder why she isn't recognized for being awesome. Um, her adjectives are hot and mean. Uh, just, just a, just a, just a rat bitch.
Amen.
Old rat bitch, which is one of the playbooks. That's a playbook name
Yes.
as well.
Not a pejorative. This was a choice.
Not a pejorative.
Yes.
You know, we're checking in. We're not being pejoratively here. Anyhow, I think I was trying to get to perjury and I kind of stumbled midway through and collapsed. It's all good. Um, so a little introduction to the setting. We see Cerulia, a blue planet streaked with the pouring tears of the convergence. A planet turned brown and then on the ground turned to orange as clouds and clouds of debris, heat and fire rained down on the populace. Flashing lights leaving the atmosphere, dotting the space between Cerulea's nearby neighbors and its moon. A growing society even as both continue to be pelted in erratic intervals by clouds of intergalactic matter. A gamble, but a collaboration. A project between Cerulia and its new-formed galactic reach, its galactic reach project, the Reach, a growing intergalactic bridge, the Sling, forming steadily in orbit above Rose, one of its partner planets. A slam, a streak, a roar as the Sling ignites, fires a test probe, reaches out into the farness of space, partway to a new potential home. And something else reaches back. When the probe disappears, the Sling begins to quieten and the portal begins to close, and something else reaches back. 5 perfect cylinders of violet matter, the fingertips, suspended for just a moment before slamming to the ground. Alerts, alarms, klaxons, terror on the planet Cerulia. Withdrawn citizenship, protests on the planet's surface, and a planetary defense grid hastily enabled. Tensions between the people on the ground and those in space. The formation of a group, the homebound, desperate to return to an ancestral home that no longer wants them. A third, the celestial embrace, more interested in what lies beyond, what the fingertips mean for us. On Rose, beneath the Sling, one remaining piece that hadn't been scurried away, picked and pried at. Beneath the planet's surface, amid ruined installations, station wrecks, and failures to terraform, a hand reaching out to take it. The Reach is it began as a development project, and the culture is still the same. what started out as a colonization effort turns into a development project. Recreational spaces, spaces to relax and unwind and share, are overtaken by test rooms, by command decks, as the needs of the project. Our pilots are their candidates, their competitors. They are pet projects. There are members of the directorship who purport to care for them, who purport to look after them, who purport to treat them as their life's work, and who compete between one another as well for the attention of the director of the Reach as a whole. I think initially we see the promenade deck, one of the few spaces on this station where it's still possible to get up a decent speed running, and we see tertiary director Holden Hall, who is an older, dark-skinned person. They're wearing a lab coat. They've got clear cybernetic augments around their eyes, around the bits of the collarbone that you can see beneath their open kind of tank top situation. They're wearing tracksuit pants underneath a lab coat, and they're carrying a stopwatch. And I think that's where we first see Eridani. It is what, 6, 7 a.m. At least on cycle, on reach time. And I think we see Eridani run into view even. What do we see of her?
She comes in, kind of sort of skids to a stop. You know when you go for a jog and they kind of sort of encourage you to not necessarily stop cold, but to sort of still move a little bit. So like she slows down, but she's still sort of jogging in place. It's a lot lighter and a lot less brisk than what she was doing before, just to sort of help her sort of cycle down. And then once she's sort of good, she takes like a really cool like sci-fi production design water bottle kind of thing. Yeah, it's because that's how you know we're in the future. And she takes a swig of that, and then she sort of leans against like I don't know, maybe like a glass pane thing. I think we're on a station right now. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we see that. There is open glass here. We can see Cerulean far, far in the distance, a off blue dot. We can see the blinking lights of stations and ships all around us. Nothing is stationary. Things are moving. Things are orbiting one another. It is a heavily functional space. This is not designed to ever touch the ground. We can see, open spaces. We can see trailing cables between spaces with blinking lights to make sure some shuttle doesn't crash into them. Yeah.
Awesome. So I think maybe there's a cool little railing thing. I think I'm leaning on that. And as I do that, I'm wearing I'm wearing like athlete kind of a thing. It is one of those things where this is supposed to sort of exist in the same space as like her flight suit, where it's like it's usually like fully like zipped up, nothing is really showing, until she feels that she can actually take a break, and then she will unzip it. Um, this like kind of blocking, this kind of staging is just a kind of a popular thing with mech pilots in general that I'm a big fan of. And so she will unzip it halfway and let the upper part of her tracksuit sort of hang at her hips. And she's also wearing like a black tank top, and she just sort of leans against the railing with her arms crossed. How's my time?
Good, but not great. You'll get it. They kind of they don't ruffle your hair, but they rub the back of your shoulder, and it's a similar motion. It's a similar energy. There's no set time that they're aiming for. There's no set time that you're aiming for. They've been saying better and you'll get it for the last 6 years. This is the routine. This is a weekday. This is a day where you're not on on active duty, when you're not on patrol, or when you're not on training, or when you're not doing synchronization tests. It is heading down to the track for a few laps before breakfast.
I know full well that this is the closest thing I'm ever going to get to being told good job. I
Yeah.
think yeah, I think I've learned to live with it, and it's almost as close to his way of showing affection as he can manage.
Yeah.
So we kind of have to just lean into the approximation a bit.
There is care there, right? And
Yeah.
I'm sure you've collapsed on a running machine before, and they've been the one to pull you up to your shoulder by your shoulders even. They're older, but there is still muscle there, right? They're wiry in that way that people who are older can get.
Mhm.
And, prior to being a program director, they were doing much the same thing, and they're not Violet kind. They're like you. They see themselves in you. They want they want what's best for you, probably. And they leave you to it. I think we pan out at that beat, but we do get that shot. We get you being illuminated by Cerullia's surface over this artificial track. Um, there are plants around the station, as we pan the camera across. It's not that it's a totally sterile space, but it's a heavily artificial space. Every single inch of almost everywhere you guys have ever been in your entire lives is artificial. Um, by comparison, I think where we see the pilots, and Eridani is included in this, of course, where we see them living is a lot more controlled. You're all granted your own space. You all have a private living situation. You all have roughly the space of a hotel room to yourselves, which you can decorate and do with as you'd like. You have almost the space of an apartment block just for pilots, whether that's these brand new recruits just out of the crash, or whether that's active working pilots like yourselves. It is a huge open space with doors leading off to these levels after levels of apartments, and on one end we see the great sort of flickering projection of a leaderboard of, and it's constantly changing. Rare is it for someone to be at the top of the leaderboard all week, but there is constant comparison, there is constant monitoring, there is constant testing, and it's not while you're on sortie, because they can't maintain that full visibility once you're out in space, once you're delving into subspace or even violet space deeper than that. But they keep track, and they do, much like a sports coach, they do go back over the meeting reels afterwards. They let you know where you dropped the ball. They let you know where you could be refined. By comparison, what does Caroline's morning look like?
Caroline's doing her makeup. Obviously, she doesn't need it anymore because her skin is mostly like, like kind of like a cross between a sleeper from Citizen Sleeper and the armor of the mercenaries from Disco Elysium, plasticine, very like stark porcelain light. But she does it anyway. There's a comfort in the familiarity and the routine, and it helps, despite the memory loss, to establish continuity between her flesh self and her current self.
What does Caroline's space look like nowadays? I
Um,
assume she's getting ready in her own space, right?
well, there's lots of obnoxious fairy lights. There's like, like silver latex gothic Lolita dresses sort of like strewn everywhere. They're used like oh, what do you call it? Where a ring light, that was the word. There's a ring light next to her mirror. It's very much like what if a typical early 20s influencer was also like a horrible robot girl.
I can relate. Good to know. And what does Shrike's day look like by comparison?
Starting the day with Eridani running laps before breakfast, Shrike is just waking up. Probably, I think her space is mostly like things that are like black and red. I bet that she has like hammered things into the walls. She has like pieces of like her mech that had been sheared off and stuff like in her room, like damaging the walls. Um, just like odds and ends, like weird like construction bits. Um, I think that she wakes up in the clothes that she is probably going to wear or is similar to what she's going to wear, which is like an old t-shirt and like joggers, and like rolls over and gets on the computer and starts just I think that she likes to like spy on what people are talking about. I think that she is like a backdoor into looking at other people's personal conversations and is trying to gather gossip.
Interesting. What do you see? Okay, so the hot topic. Wow, the hot topic
That's
is
also where Shrike's mornings starts.
yeah, there we go. It's Deliveroo, but for different chains. Um, Recent news, stuff that you'd heard about. You knew that there was a mission launching yesterday, sort of evening, late afternoon, um, with a new pilot, sort of not fresh out of the crash, but fresh out of kind of basic training. You know that Malice was her name. Similar kind of. Let me know how you feel about this, but she's kind of like a girl trying to go goth. Um,
Okay.
which with Caroline as a potential squad mate is probably kind of an interesting reaction. But she is, partially dyed hair that she's dyed herself. Tank tops and checked shirts and skinny jeans. Trying to, like arm gloves that she's bought that might have been torn out of tights by anyone else and so on. You know that she left out of the main hangar, and you know that 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 didn't come back by the same way. Her X10 returned to the station.
Okay.
There's the standard inventory check-in, check-out list, which you have access to and shouldn't. Um, but you don't know. You're not entirely sure what happened to her in that respect. The I think similarly, she was being sent out in her X10 in her suit, and with a squad of B types, which are like support vehicles, and those don't seem to have returned either, which is unusual. And I think with a little bit more pressing, you can find out that Malice herself seems to have returned, but doesn't, you know, isn't in her room. Seems to have been escorted pretty much directly to the medical ward. One of several medical wards, I'm sure, but escorted
Yeah.
directly to the medical ward.
Hmm.
And I think another 10 minutes go by with you poring over records and so on, seeing what you can, seeing if you can get into flight recorded data, not without further pressing, not without exposing your ass. And you get, it's 9:45 right now. You get a 10:30 mission briefing added to your calendar by your own director, who is tertiary director Juliet.
Yeah.
You do not know her first name. Her name is Juliet.
It's a mononym. Um, all right.
And
I
the same is the true for the same is the true. I'm doing well today. The same is true for the both of you guys as well. In addition, you receive the Microsoft Outlook. You've something buzzes your page probably because this is still worn technology. This is still, well, worn technology and literal worn technology. You've got something hanging off your hip, which alerts you that you've been added to a briefing mandatory. You've got that flag set separately for 40 minutes time.
right
Caroline
does
glance.
like
Oh,
oh, what does Caroline do?
I was gonna say she glances at it, rolls her eyes, puts it in her purse, and gets ready to head out.
Shrike does like the version of like hitting the snooze button on the thing, just like kind of just like hits her like communicator until it stops beeping at her and goes back to what she was doing.
More times, an LED flashes red instead of blue, and then it does cease chirping at you. What about you, Aridani?
What about me, indeed? Goodness gracious.
Yeah. I was asking. I mean, you don't have to answer, I suppose.
You know what it is? You know what it is? Oh, goodness, I'm trying to think of what do phones look like? Are we doing like screens? Do we like screens? Like holographic screens?
Yeah, but like the Nokia N gauge.
Oh, cool. Okay. So I like to think that um, I
They
think
can
I'm
behave like phones. I just don't want them to be phone shaped. Do you know what I mean?
no, I know exactly what you mean. Um, I think to put something like this on speaker, I have to plug it into a speaker. I think I have to plug it into a separate device, a secondary device, in order to,
Oh, I see.
you know what I mean? So I think
Mhm.
I've circled back. I've circled back to my quarters. I've plugged it into the speaker so that I can do push-ups while I'm being spoken to.
Interesting. It is an in-person briefing. You know this.
Yes, it is.
Oh, but
But
you're just getting the backstory. Interesting.
yes. Someone's called me like, hey, you have a briefing. Hey, you have an alert or whatever. I don't think Eridani has different ringtones for different things. So I think it's the same thing for everything. So he just assumes that someone is trying to talk your ear off about something. But since it's just the summons, it's just like, oh, that it's like the automated thing. You have a briefing and on deck 12 or whatever. I'm like, oh, that's it. Oh, okay, shit. So then she gets up and goes, and then she shows up with a towel, like a small like hand towel, like around her neck.
The deck 12 is like main deck, which is curious. You know that it is one of the main briefing rooms. You're not just being kind of addressed while you're getting into your X10s or what have you. You also know that Holden is not running the briefing. And I think you get some sort of heads up from Holden, which is just like, not my circus, not my monkeys. Hands up. My
Well,
bad.
you know what? That's the call. I think it's from him. I think it's him letting me know,
Yeah, there we go. It's
which is very sweet.
listen, champ, it's not one of mine. You're gonna have to play well.
I have to play with someone else's monkeys.
You're a social butterfly. I'm sure you'll do fine.
Ooh ah.
Chirp, chirp, as the friends. I think you know who else has been invited. You have that visibility. It just out of curiosity, because we're pulling all three of you into a room. What is Aradani's relationship like with Caroline or with Shrike? And
I
or
have
with
I have a big old crush on Carolina Hayes, 100%.
oh,
Yeah. Um, this is
it's that goth girl swagger. I know. Well,
yeah. I don't know what the what the sort of like chrome plasticine equivalent is of just the swag of dark circles under one's eyes, but that's what it is. You know what I mean? Like,
Sam, you just have to paint them on. I know that, but
but yeah, I mean, like she was like the two of them are very. We were talking about this during session 0. The two of them are sort of parallel in this way, where it's like before me, top dog, it was her, right? Um, and so there's always this sort of this idolization admiration thing going on. It's like, I'm not perfect, she is, and I'm trying to be like her, you know what I mean? And then she dies a little bit, and then it's like, I don't know how to feel about taking your spot, 'cause I'm still not you.
it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot
Yeah,
to live up to
yeah,
or die up to.
right,
Okay,
but only just a little bit, you understand?
yeah. Right. Let's do one with Shrike, and then if the other connections come up, the other connections come up. What's the relationship from Shrike to one of the other two pilots?
Uh, yeah. Shrike has a big crush on Eridani.
It's
uh,
complicated. Do you think that that'll come
It'd be
up,
that way.
or
I don't, so she really wants to play it off because Eridani seems to actually like her, which is weird because she was mean to her and stuff, and
But that's how you know I like you.
developed into a joking relationship. Yeah, so it's like, well, I mean, I guess she's okay with me being around, and then she's a big hotshot, but I can't it's bad for my reputation, to like
It's bad for my
actually
health.
it's bad for my reputation to actually like want someone and to want someone who's like unattainable in that way, but like secretly she really likes her.
I just think she's really cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely cool. You're such a nerd.
Mhm.
And you're a cheese ball, so what?
I think that's just a beat. I think it's you are doing the commute. This is not in the same like building or anything. There is next to the launch site for your X10s, there is a set of briefing rooms. There is a set of armories and inventory spaces and training rooms, of course. There are locker rooms and there are like changing rooms in general, I suppose. But it is a little bit of a commute there. There is a light rail which runs on a little beam of light, which takes you from the pilot's barracks into this larger space, where definitely every room looks out on the X10 hangar. Yes, we can agree on this. Like the big glass panels everywhere you look, and the hulks of your X10s as you are sort of gently ribbing on each other. What are Caroline's relationships like with the rest of the team?
Well, Caroline
Positive?
just
Well
so
adjusted?
yeah, no, she just so happens to have a big, huge crush on Shrike because Shrike is kind of mean to her. Very much it admires the like laid backness and like freedom that Shrike has, and sometimes Shrike is you know Shrike's very charming when she sets out to be.
Service with a smile. Or,
Yes,
well,
yes.
service is a strong word, but she's still smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Smiling in some sort of way.
Yeah, yeah, she's still got a mouth. It's hard to get the soul to stick if there isn't one.
That's theology.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we've measured this. It's not theology, it's synchronization rates. We've got the charts. Someone plotted a graph. The briefing room is a. Do you kids know what a conversation pit is? It is.
Yes.
Of course I know
Oh,
what a
Christ.
conversation pit is.
Okay, yeah, we're all indie TTRPG kids here. Of course, we know what a conversation pit is. Just checking in. It's a large square room with a big circular sort of pit in the middle, lined with like couches, but they're not as comfortable as that. It's reinforced seating built into the area. This room in particular, you can tell based on the like lighting and how it's angled, it used to be some sort of growth room for something, like some sort of organic matter. And there's other places on the station where that's now performed. In the middle of this conversation pit, already standing in the middle of it because the space is probably like 5 paces across in each direction, is tertiary director Juliet, who Eridani, I don't think I've ever had the pleasure of working directly under, like in for longer than like a sortie or a scout mission or a training drill. But she is a pretty constant fixture in Caroline and Shrike's lives. She is a taller, dark-skinned woman. She has high hair put into some sort of high ponytail, square glasses, sharp features, all business. She has had her lab coat tailored to her body, just to make it sort of fit a little bit better. Hands behind her back when you enter, a data pad in one hand, a flickering projector of the planet Rose already up on the screen, or on the. It's a circular hollow projection, flickers every now and again behind her. Good morning. Take a seat.
I think Shrike sits on top of the conversation pit with its feet like on the seat cushions. Like at the edge of the
Caroline,
pit.
yeah, and Caroline sits properly and primly within the designated areas.
I lay down. in the pit.
Julian's expression is completely, exactly the same between Caroline and Shrike. There is no total, passivity. There is no outward reaction. But, she's keeping score. I think one manicured eyebrow tilts. Am I boring you?
No, I'm just getting comfortable. We haven't even started yet. You haven't had a chance to bore me yet.
I don't recall asking you to be comfortable, but fair enough.
Didn't have to.
No.
I asked myself, and I said yes.
Oh,
You've been spending
hustle.
too much time with Shrike. She takes performs a small lap of the projector, around the outside of it.
Oh, now
you-
we're getting boring. Okay.
I do.
Get comfortable.
I do tap, Shrike with my foot while it's sitting
I
up
kick
there,
your foot.
and then I look up at you, and I'm like, "Did you just wake up? Or are you happy to see me?"
Oh, I just woke up. You know it.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
quite clear to the entire room.
And you know it too. When have I ever been on time to a meeting?
Ma'am, may you please proceed with the briefing so we can do our jobs?
So pleased to. Loads up a picture of Malice, the young cadet, or the young test pilot, departing within her X-10, rising from the hangar bay along with a small cadre of these B-type support vehicles, disappearing into the distance. And then the security footage changes. It's a exterior picture of the same hangar, and it is the same X-10 being sort of towed back into place by what looks like some sort of freighter. There are no support vehicles present. The orbital body itself is crumpled. It is very... You know when the sink begins to drain, and there is that moment where there's just the tiniest whirlpool in the very center of the plug?
Yes.
It partially looks like a perfectly intact orbital body has gone through something like that.
Yeah.
That's not good.
That's what greeted my morning briefing. Forgive my seriousness. In case you're worried, in case you have that close pally relationship with our test pilot as well, she is still
Who?
alive. She may be visited in the medical ward when you are free. You are not currently free. Was there a question?
No, just wanting to know who the unfortunate soul was.
A little flicker, and it is a picture of... She's young, right? I think Caroline in particular. This feels kind of... You dial back 6 years, 7 years on yourself, and you see a version of yourself who looks like this. Maybe with a little bit more expendable income than you did. She looks like she was trying too hard to look like she didn't try. Sweet kid.
And yeah, she pushes those feelings of recognition down and just sort of gives a grimace at it and goes, "Oh, newbie."
Recently departed basic training. She had been asked to lead a small cadre of support vehicles on an initial sortie. She drew closer to the surface of Rose than we were anticipating, and all signal was lost. A passing supply vehicle came across the remains of her orbital body, which is similarly also healing, several hours later. She's currently in the medical ward, but has not reawoken.
Okay.
We
So
did
some-
receive one additional point of information and a secondary tap, and it is It is a former pilot who similarly worked for the Reach. Caroline, what do you know about Nova Fall?
Well, not as much as I used to. That was one of the things that sort of struggled to make the jump over when I was brought back. I think I remember that she meant something to me, something very important. I remember what holding her hand feels like, but why would I know that?
The visuals change slightly, and where it might previously have been warm memory, where it might previously have been contact, it is reams of text. It's a plain text file, and it is the facts. It is Nova Fall fleeing the Reach for whatever reason. It is her getting some ideas above her station. She seemed excited over something. Um, she departs. She departs seemingly towards Rose, last you heard. Caroline was sent in pursuit. If nothing else, an orbital body is expensive, and just about the only thing that can keep up and can hope to stop an orbital body is another one. You fled to the surface of. Caroline fled to the surface of Rose along with her, tried to trail her down. It was bad luck. It was a Zolka far, far from home, an old piece of cerulean defense technology, real big boy guns, the kind of things which no modern orbital body would be crude, barbaric enough to wield. And, you know, Malice was very similar to you. Again, being, towed back into place, being towed back to the Reach, and, being patched up as best as we could. At least that's what you remember. One of the few things that we were able to decipher from her orbital body's logs, the piece that her last contact records, who she last spoke with. These are encrypted. Perhaps they're something that yourselves could read, but through hard data they're not able to be accessed. But we do recognize the signature. I worked with Miss Fall for some time. I doubt that she is of a mind, and I doubt that her orbital body is of such capability that she has decided to start tearing apart our test pilots, but that is what we must assume moving forward. Your mission, as it stands. I would ask you, if you wish, to investigate with Miss Malice. Investigate what you can about her and her orbital body, if you so desire. Perhaps investigate any connections you might of Miss Fall, such as there may still be on the Reach. And I would ask you to head to Rose and work out what the fuck did this. Any questions?
Yeah,
So-
we weapons free. We weapons free.
Once you are out of our embrace, a little quirk of a lip at the use of the word, I trust you to use your best judgment. You have been trained for this. I will not stop you if it is a question of whether to pull the trigger or whether to await further guidance. You come
Strengths
highly
is
recommended, and your scores are impeccable. I trust you to keep the other two in line.
Sure.
Okay, boss, are we weapons free?
Squint. I trust you to use Eridani's best judgment.
Yeah, that's who my boss was. And I was. Who are you?
Strike.
Slight roll of her eyes.
Save this for the chat logs.
Save this for your own time, not mine. Is there anything relevant?
No, ma'am.
Tip
I've
of
been
her
told
head.
not to speak.
The screen turns back to the picture of Rose, still with the sling in its orbit above it, where the fingertips burst through years and years ago at this point. And you're bathed in this kind of dusky orange-pink light as she gives a nod to two of you, at least in turn, and then steps up out of the conversation pit. There are no proper stairs. It's just you step on the couch to rise out, and she leaves the room. The lights are still lowered. You have this slowly rotating planet bathing you in this orangey pink light. What do you do?
Okay, so we're you can go on gathering information, but it seems like half of this is to go fight something. And that's what we're built for, right?
Well, I doubt we could perform any worse than that poor heap of scrap over there. I don't. I feel going in blind is an ill-advised move.
You just want to get back in with Nova.
No, I'm following her orders.
You're just okay, yeah, you're just following orders. Nothing.
Look, no one would blame you if you wanted to spend the brass's operational budget on a hookup.
We've all done it.
Unlike you, I don't need brass money to get laid.
It's an excuse, not a reason.
Yes, and I prefer to keep my skills sharp without overreach.
That's
Yeah,
a
sure.
lot of talk for someone
okay,
wants to
sure.
get back in with Nova, but okay. We can investigate.
Look, I just think we should be well prepared for what we're going into. I don't want to see either of you two with your heads blown off.
Is that something you think about?
Well, you know, I have my private time.
Getting head.
Not doesn't sound like it. She hasn't had the operational budget.
Oh, so getting blown. Okay.
Are you two done?
Do you have to ask that? We can
Yes,
walk and talk.
I realize my mistake. I'm going to go complete our mission, and if either of you two want to do anything more than make rather poor jokes at my expense, feel free to join me. And with that, Caroline's going to walk out of the room.
It's exactly the same like movement. We use the exact same like initial anime cells as we did for tertiary director Juliet leaving the room previously. In terms of spaces you could go, you know that Malice is in the medical ward. You know that X10 was towed in somewhere, presumably. You have no idea what happened to the support crafts. You know that back in the barracks, there is a room still sealed off that Nova Fall lived in for several years. And of course, there's the X10 hangar. There is your own orbital body. There is space, and eventually Rose beyond it. Oh, and you're also welcome to continue bitching at each other. Sorry, we've got 4 hours for this, by all means.
Bitch all day.
I've got something if no one else does.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, Caroline's psychic gifts were, shall we say, damaged in the transition from flesh to plastic, but she still has a bit of the old spark left in her, and she's gonna try to reach out. She's, I imagine this is sort of like we get an image of her like walking through the hallways with like determination. You can hear the click of her heels, and then her like rapid pace starts to slow. She like reaches up to her face as if she's like crying again, but she can't. She doesn't have tear ducts anymore. and then
Mhm.
she'll sort of like duck into a side room, sit down with her head in her hands, and feel what remains of that connection she had with Nova.
This sounds like a reach out, I think. You're just in
Yeah,
like a side room off of a main corridor. There are still, I don't think it's heaving down here, but I think there are still people walking back and forth. There's the low murmur of conversation. It's like taking a corner in a hospital.
yeah. That's actually a really good image, like of the grieving widow in the hospital drama. I'm going to be reaching out with
Mhm.
my near talent because I have the move Psychic Turbulence, which means I can use my X10 talent to draw near. Because in this case, I'm drawing throughout the reaches of subspace what remains of my connection to Nova.
Interesting. Okay, let's roll it and let's give it a go. What is your draw near?
My draw near is 3.
Damn. Okay, so we're starting off with 3d4. Um, I think the only additional thing you could do is maybe you could use a additional dice from your connection with Nova, but I don't see it bringing you higher than that.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I'm going to move from the title just to our. I put together a little dice pools thing for you guys. I know we've got tokens to be passing around and whatnot. So here's some pools to share between if you would so like. Very high production budget on this one. Last year I was making 3D models, but it's been. Um, Sounds like we're starting off with was that 3d4 in that case?
3d4, I don't think I'm going to use my boost token yet. Not really dramatically appropriate.
Hmm.
Ooh, no successes. I fail. I'm falling.
No successes. Yeah, that's 3, 2, 3.
No.
In the system, a 1 to a 3 is a failure. A 4 is a success, and multiple fours start to make it that more successful still. Not in this case though, but that probably will
No,
come up.
no.
Um,
Eventually.
Interesting. Bear with me one moment.
Of course.
Just I'd love to just have a section in a GM's guide buffering. Not for me, just for you guys. It's all good.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
Hmm. So what do we go for? I mean, there's an easy one. You're
Mhm.
trying to plumb back in on that connection. You're focusing on your memories of Nova probably for the first time in a while, right? Um,
Yeah, it's.
the this is something that almost directly related to and led to your death.
Yep.
Um, and I think that shows. I think it is pushing on the stuff which has been facts and figures for you, has been whatever logs were recovered, has been eyewitness reports and action logs, and it's overwhelming. It is Nova saying, "You don't get it, do you? She was my sister, and she. Why did I ever expect you to get this?
No, Nova, listen to me. There's
Caroline,
still
don't
time.
follow me."
You can come back. There's still time.
Caroline, stop. And I think that's what you get. And it's. I think we take a hindrance here. I think it's
Yippee.
rejected by Nova Fell. Nova Fall, even.
Yikes.
And
What?
what that sticks in your head is just her expression. You're in your extends. You couldn't see her face, but you felt it. You saw the tears brimming at the corner of her eyes. You saw something in the cockpit there with her, something that shouldn't have been really a violet glow. you could see the tears welling at the corner of her eyes, and you knew you couldn't make it back for her. You knew you couldn't bring her back. Not you, not by yourself. You were limited for the first time in your life. And then you died, obviously, which, yeah.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
better.
it happens to the best of us. Well, not me, but, other people.
I imagine we
Um,
sort of see her wiping at tears and mutters under her breath, "This time it'll be different."
oh, you don't have tear ducts. No, it's fine.
Yeah,
You're
no, I know,
crying,
but
though,
she's
yeah.
still wiping at them, so
Yeah, 100%. Even if you're
muscle
not
memory.
physically crying, you can feel it. You can feel tears bleeding down your face.
Oh, cool. And I'm sure they are a normal color for tears.
Psychic
Say if you're actually physically crying,
hmm
you can feel them.
You feel
Yeah.
wet.
And I think there's a pair of younger pilots. They're in some sort of bodysuit, which is similar, but maybe it doesn't have the bars on the shoulder or something like that, right? There's a really obvious visual storytelling way to tell that they're more junior, and they're walking by, they catch a look of you, and then speed up. What are the rest of you doing?
So, should we go talk to the newbie who like fucked this up for us?
I like this game.
I mean, she's got to be awake by now, right? I don't know what kind of hit she took, but like, we can go see.
Rapid cut. It is you in the hospital wing. It is pretty much quiet, actually. You would normally expect to hear, the heart rate monitors and whatnot, but no, it is big window panels, flickering slightly. You realize that this is an interior room. They have not given her one of the rooms with a window, but you can see Cerulean magnified closer. And she is in a hospital bed. She has an eye patch over one eye. She has the traditional anime big bandage over her head. She has her long dark hair, which has like a panel, like some bangs, which have been crudely dyed red, and her eyes are closed. Pale arms out over the top of the sheets. She still seems to be alive by all means, and there is someone like an orderly coming in and checking in on her every once in a while, but she doesn't seem to be responding.
Got it.
So, of course, she's got to be awake now, right? And then immediate smash cut
too. She is not awake. Okay. I am trying to figure out what to do in this situation. Well, because most of my skills do not involve using my head. They're more about talking
use
to
your
other
head.
people.
Talk at her then. Is this
Okay.
just you, by the way, or did you drag Aradani to this?
I assumed that I was dragging Aradani with me.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'm going to do something different, but I
Okay.
will be here for the scene.
Okay. Then I guess if they let us in here, I'll kind of just kind of go like, "Hey, anyone in there? Hey, kid." No response. Okay.
Maybe like a slight you get "Hey kid," and that's where you get like a slight twitch of the brow.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of petulance, and you realize, 3 weeks ago you had an argument with this girl in line at the refectory.
Oh my
They do
god.
cinnamon buns, but they're only on Thursdays, and of course they're in short supply because have you any idea how hard it is to grow cinnamon in space? And synthetic cinnamon is not good. People say it tastes the same, and it doesn't. You know it doesn't.
Same. Yeah. It's like, "Oh, hey, I had to pull rank on you in line the other day. Knocked you down. How?"
You of all people pulled rank?
She's a trainee. I've got a little bit of rank.
I see.
I've
Okay.
been
See,
here.
it's seniority. It's time served that you pulled, not rank.
Yeah, yeah. I'm calling it rank, but it's something different. Yeah, no. We know each other. What?
I think it's
Hey,
maybe she's dreaming. Hard to tell.
yeah,
She does respond to that somewhat. I mean, you're the kind of person who does get a response.
yeah.
Um, Not a great deal, but it's a response.
Okay.
Sorry, what were you saying?
No, I'm just thinking. Um, I'm gonna pull aside one of the nurses maybe. And just ask like, "Hey, what's what's the situation here? Like, how long is she gonna pretend to be asleep?"
I think you get like a twitch of the brow again. This time from the orderly. They are wearing like a clean suit. You know, it is the kind of suit which can basically self clean between rooms, minimizing infection and so on. They've got like a big data pad tucked into a holster on their thigh. Um, Tough to say. Between pilots, it does vary. I mean, frankly, I'm surprised she's just sleeping. You're in a squad with that Hayes girl from time to time, right? Similar
Maybe.
mess. Similar mess. Not quite the same, but within a degree of it to whatever happened to that poor girl. So,
Oh,
no, I don't know how long she's going to pretend to sleep for. Did they send you on account of your bedside manner?
yeah, they interviewed us special.
Well, so long as you're special.
We all are up here, sister. Um,
Glowers, but no. Glowers? Glowers? She frowns. Is
we're
there
just
anything you
trying to
want to try
figure
while
out.
you're here?
Yeah,
Please.
we're just trying to. Maybe I can negotiate. We're just trying to figure out what's going on. They don't know really what happened. So,
Notice that. You special cases, and it's hard to work out. It's not just the medical sometimes.
mm,
In an orbital body, there is strain on here and in here, right? She points at her head and she points at her heart.
I know, yeah.
Oh, I'm preaching to the choir, but still. It could be tomorrow, it could be in 3 months.
Yeah.
I'll do all I can for her. Keep her stable,
Okay.
keep her fed.
That seems to be all they can do around here is keep us stable.
That elicits a look.
That's well, I'll be I'll be here. She goes and sits in a chair in the corner.
Rounds. All right. If you need something in particular, if your looks between the two of you, if you think there's anything that might help your friend, let me know. All right. And she points. There is like on the side of the bed. There is like it's like a call and response little device. There's a button stapled to something. Incredibly quiet room. No like audio of any. There's no like. We're not using the Hospital 101 Foley bank. You know what I mean? You know how
Yeah.
you watch like an episode of House, you watch an episode of ER, you watch an episode of fucking anything,
There's
Ava,
no
and they
beeping.
always no beeping. Totally empty, totally quiet room. 4 other beds in the room, all empty. Perfectly made up. What's Eridani doing in this scene?
I'm watching I'm watching Shrike have this try to have this conversation and see that it's not working, and I am contemplating how it can often be easier to talk to a machine than a person. And so I just say, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna head towards the hangar where all the X10s are. And I think I'm pretty cool with the mech jacks over there. You know, with the mechanics and
Mm.
stuff, the technical team, because they're like my pit crew. You know what I mean? So like, you know, we're tight. I always like I often like to use my what's the word? I don't know. Whatever kind of special like mech pilot commendation points that we can spend at the commissary. I often spend it on like getting them like, you know, stuff that they like.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay.
Yeah, they're not. Anyway, I the idea is that I want to go to the wreck of Malice's X10, and I want to basically use that black box, plug it into a sim, and run it. I want to do like the Blade Runner thing.
Mm.
Wait, is that even a Blade Runner thing? I don't think it is. Never mind. Forget I said that. No, but I want to take this black box. I want to plug it into a simulation. I want to jump into Malice's like subjectivity, basically, and put myself there, like in Orbit of Rose, and like experience what that was like before the comms went out.
So there is in the X10 hangar. It's not directly in the X10 hangar, but it's in like an adjoining room.
Yeah.
You know, give rookies a feel for the space. There is essentially like three different like that they've just torn out of X10 or torn out of like X10 shells, right? Because you know that the X10 isn't just the X10; it's the violet core. I wink at the screen. Um, So it is. I don't know why, but I'm thinking of the fucking things they use instead of jeeps in Jurassic World. You know, you have the big like Katamari balls that you hang out in.
Yeah.
Um, that kind of scale, that kind of space. It is a completely clear space. There is no privacy within the cockpit, but it's for running sims and things like that. There is a young woman in overalls and an engineer's bag, a loose an engineer's like coverall and icons, a loose sort of jacket over that, and I don't think it's a black box, but I think it's something comparable. You know, it's taking a few hard drive disks and slotting them into the appropriate places on the cockpit.
Mhm.
Are you sure you want to do this? It's potentially going to be a little bumpy in there.
I can take it.
Hey, I'm not down and you won't take it. I'm just saying. It might be kind of unpleasant.
Run it.
Alright, on your head be it. She like taps the top of the cockpit meaningfully, and what does the control mechanism in here look like? Is it like a spinal tap? How do you interface with your X10?
Spinal Tap. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Oh wait,
you
I forgot about the immersion fluid. I forgot about
Oh,
that.
we're doing goo? We're doing goo in here? All right.
Maybe not for this. Maybe not in here. It's a sim. I don't know. I don't
Brings
know. I
it
don't know.
before me and then pulls it
Don't
so
fear the
cruelly
goo.
away. Seasons
Don't
don't fear the
fear
gooper.
the
I'm
goo.
always saying this.
Fuck it. We're going goo. Let's get gooed.
We're
Let's get
going
gooed.
goosed. Okay, so new thing that is added into the scene as we say this, there is of course like a decontamination shower, like a row of them at the back of the room as well.
Yep.
Because like in a proper X10, it would automatically be withdrawn when you left the cockpit, and in these you know simulation cockpits, that's not the case. Um, I think this probably needs some kind of role. I think
Yep.
there is the potential of being, though I recognize that these are kind of hard records, they are, hmm, it's like hooking
It is
yourself
also a
up.
psychic. It is a psychic thing. Like,
Yeah,
and I am not
it's
equipped
like
to do psychic
if
stuff.
you went, I want to see what Fee's feeling, and what I did was just gave you an like an export of IO, you know, so you've got
Hmm.
like all the incoming data and all the outgoing data at the same time, and it's potentially kind of a lot.
Yeah.
What do we think a role is here?
That's a great question.
is there something appropriate in terms of universal moves that we feel we can use here? I mean, there is Reach Out, which I feel is a good like coverall, but I don't know if there's something better here. Could be Negotiate. Could be Gain Insight. That might be the obvious one.
Gain Insight sounds cool. I was looking at Get Close for a second.
That's when you let someone in, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know why I said you like that. I don't know why I was like you.
You.
Emphasis.
Up to you. Up to yourself, Solace. What are you thinking?
Okay, no. Examining an object or looking for the traces of a lie on someone's face. Right. Gaining insight. Yeah, learning something new. Allowing you to glean additional. The whole thing is about gaining nuance context because we don't have any. So yeah, gain insight makes a lot of sense.
Neat.
Yeah. I was just thinking of like, from a psychic perspective, as someone who isn't like that, who isn't like sensitive and vulnerable in that way, to then let that information come into my head. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like a thing. But no, okay, gain insight makes a lot of sense.
You either being uniquely deadened to it or being uniquely weak to it because you've never actually had to deal with this shit in the past. Or maybe just the ripples of it. I don't want to say that you're like totally immune to it, but it's not something that comes naturally to you.
Now, which set of talents am I using here?
That's a good question because this is in an X10 cockpit. Yeah, I feel like this is reliant on your skill set as an X10 pilot. It makes sense for me to use the X10 talents, I think.
So I think synchronize makes sense here.
I would, yeah. This is the synchronization test scene from Ava, right? 100%.
So that's 2d4, I believe.
So you need to hit a 4 to pass this. Do you want to try and perhaps boost yourself or something along those lines, or are we? I mean, there's still a 1 in X of some kind of success, right? What's that? 1 in 4 or 1 in 4? Does that make it 2 in 4? I don't think it's as natural as just 50-50. This is why I'm a terrible game designer. I don't have this shit internalized. I just have a JPEG printed out.
Shit! I forgot to actually increase 2 of my talents. Actually, so I'm going.
You should probably increase 2. Solace, may I offer you a tip?
Yeah.
You should probably increase 2 of your talents, like it says to do so on the character sheet during character creation.
There we go. Double done.
Proud of you, bud.
Now I'm rolling 3d4. Hooray!
Oh yeah. Wow, that was convenient.
Oh, very convenient, in fact. Yeah, or I bumped up my synchronize and my what is it? What is the other one? My distance, because those were yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna roll 3d4.
You can do this.
I can, in fact, do this.
Proceed where Monica previously.
Monocle is crazy.
I don't know why I said monocle. That's.
I wear both.
We gotta be here for another 2 3/4 hours. Hot damn.
One of those is a 4.
There we go. That's 1 success. That's not too bad. That is a rising success, I believe. You're not quite sparking, but you're rising.
So, as someone who is rising,
you can pick one of the following.
Yay! Let's see. I learn important information that I did not previously know, or figure out how something works. Great.
So you could learn a particular weakness or flaw subject, object, or device that could be exploited. You're able to determine how accurate the info gathered is. I'm sure that's useful for like multiple things, but by itself, I don't think that's super handy.
See, because I know you,
FT has it. Yeah, I've been here for a minute.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I am able to work out how dangerous the subject, object, or device that I'm learning about is.
Interesting. Well, it happens in pretty quick measure. You don't need to spend hours. This isn't the thing where you have to spend hours scanning through CCTV footage. But hey, I mean, this is what if this was recorded to tape? There's still like that VHS quality of it, despite the fact you're in a physical cockpit. You're in a physical cockpit. and you see the outside. You see the young engineer woman tapping on a data pad, looking increasingly nervous. You get the feeling that she is pre-populating like an accident report.
Mm-hmm.
And then that flickers, and outside of the sphere, essentially, which is, similar enough to the cockpit of your own X10, maybe the controls are slightly different, maybe it's a different seat or whatever. All around you, where you would normally see the vacuum of space and so on, you see this. It is still the vacuum of space, but it is like looking at it through a CRT filter. There is that grain to it. There is that, there are processing errors here and there. There are flickers. There are spots on the film. You are in a different orbital body, which is a very phantom limb experience right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
It feels dysphoric. It feels dysmorphic. You're not in your body. You have two bodies built for yourself, you would argue, but at the very least you have one body built for yourself. And this isn't it. The hands are in the wrong place. Maybe this frame at one point had 4 arms. You have the arms themselves, which open out in a kind of like acquiescing pose, and then you have another set which sprout kind of below the shoulder and out like what am I thinking of? There is the Superman beat where there is the Superman flying with one arm, but there is the just kind of open-handed kind of pleasure in flight. Your hands, but not your hands. Within the cockpit itself, there is the flickering of phantom hands that don't match your own, of someone tapping on switches and guides, opening a communications channel and passing over some terse dialogue, but not in a way that is. She's not pissed at her support staff. She is trying to appear professional. This is her first sortie. She is brand new to this. You draw closer to Rose, and that's where things start to go sideways. On the surface, near to the sling itself, which still remains in kind of standby mode, just floating above the planet. And by near, I mean within a continent's worth. You know what I mean? Nearby, in the grand scheme of things. There is some sort of disturbance on the surface. The pilot notes it down as a storm or a typhoon or something like that, but everything goes sideways. It is not just pressure, it's not just gravity is upended. There is a full sense of being drawn forward and drawn down. You can feel your heartstrings being pulled, as in someone has reached in, grabbed, and yanked. You feel all 4 arms flay out, sprawl. You can see support ships being scattered to the wind and torn to pieces. Just torn to pieces. There is no malice to it. There is no even intentional or thought to it. There are just torn pieces. There was a support staff. There was almost a flotilla, and now there are pieces. And you get a very unpleasant moment. You feel your heart rate begin to race. You feel yourself begin to palpitate. And then the simulation ends and cuts. The engineer is standing, breathing heavily, and her hand is next to the emergency stop button.
Does she press it?
Yes, sorry, that was her thumping it.
Got it. Yeah, no, I immediately get flushed. Like, the goo just goes.
Yes, 100%. There is a huge drain on the floor between your feet. You have like a kind of off neon pinky color to your you've still got like a veneer of it to you. And you alright? You good in there?
Haggard, short of breath, and trying very desperately to get her breathing in check so that no one can see that she is in fact arrhythmic right now. And I think we get a little nosebleed action. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. And the minute she hears, "Are you okay?" She wipes out her face. I mean, look, it's anybody's guess if it was like a booger, blood, or the goo. No one knows. Everyone's rather indiscriminate when they're covered in the goo. And she goes, "Yeah,
common pilot phrase: the goo hides all sins."
That's right. Everyone looks the same after the goo.
Everyone looks the same after the goo.
Yeah, I'm fine.
I actually have a bumper sticker with that on, which is weird because I don't own a car. Sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, she goes, yeah, fine. Fine.
You need me to call a Meditech? I can get
No,
one here in like 30 seconds.
no, I'm good. I'm good.
He like looks sort of over at you like, son, you good there, champ?
Climbing out, already walking to the showers. Fine. Thanks. I owe you a soda.
So I'm able to work out how dangerous the subject I'm learning about is. Did that count? Did that work for you?
Oh, it did, yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
More or less. I mean, like,
I just got excited there for a minute. I was just,
I
sorry,
mean,
please.
to me, this felt like the dramatic equivalent of this is we get the flashback. We get that sequence, right? And I think for me, it was really important to. I wanted to put her through that. You know what I mean? So that was really cool. So as far as I'm aware, we're talking like some Jupiter type planetary storm vibe that like ripped through, like literally like left Rose and destroyed a fleet of ships.
Yeah, like a fleet is probably a strong word, but an
Small,
X10 and
small,
a
small
set of support
flotilla.
ships.
Got it. So like the equivalent of like a solar flare, but out of a planet.
Yeah, seems to have been. Massive gravity spike, physical damage.
Yeah.
It's unusual, and I think it's you. You're toweling yourself off again. Your hair is like a little shaggy where it's you've had to de-goo it. And directly opposite the door, because of course it is like normally the X10s are just standing in these support racks under their shoulders. But it's the X10 of Malice being winched into place, and it is like there's still one arm, there's still like half of a shoulder. There's another arm which is on a separate like hover truck being wheeled into place, and you can see that the legs are starting to grow back. You can see that the cockpit was entirely undamaged, seemingly. There's probably crumpling to it, but it hasn't been torn to pieces in the same way as the rest of the mech. But it is, yeah. And obviously, you get the same flashback, you get the same sensation, you get the dizzying sensation of, for a minute there, that was my body.
Mm. And
Caroline, we haven't heard from you for a while. What are you up to?
I think we cut back to Caroline standing at the edge of Nova's old dorm.
It's nice. This is like, it's not penthouse level, but it's up there. It's not formal. Really, the highest ranking pilots, they don't have to have the highest level rooms. But, for a fact that, I don't know if you've ever been in Eridani's room. Maybe that's something you've thought about in the past. But Eridani's room is at a higher level than yours. I bet. You know what? Tell me if this isn't fair, but I bet Shrike doesn't move rooms.
No.
Shrike
It's
thinks his
expensive.
bullshit or demeaning or doesn't want to have to fucking move her shit all the goddamn time.
Shrike has literally drilled shit into the walls.
Oh, true. No one will
He's not
swap rooms
moving.
with you.
No one can.
Some people like have like staff who come in and like clean their rooms and stuff. Like not like servants or whatever. This is just something that it's communal housing. They can, and they
Mhm.
won't with you.
No one goes in there.
You get clean sheets. Someone delivers you
It's
clean sheets
hazard.
every once in a while, and that's it. That's
It's a
it. There
toss-up
isn't.
whether or not I make the bed.
There is a like 4 or 5 accident report sheets which are pinned next to your front door as like a sign of pride
Yeah.
and a sign of
Basically.
warning for the remainder of the cleaning stuff. Nova's room is exactly the same as Eridani's front door, which we saw her leaving through. It's exactly the same as Shrike's. It is exactly the same as yours on the outside. It is the only difference is that there isn't like a secondary keypad which has been exposed, like a piece of metal has slid. You would have like a key card, or maybe like a literal key card. It's a piece of card shaped like a key that you have to plug in to a particular slot. But it's wallet thin. But underneath that, there is a number code which you have been given as part of your mission brief, and you can tap that in. And it smells like the air is recycled in the station. There is no such thing as old air. There is no such thing as like still air, but you feel the rush of cold, and you feel the rush of people haven't been going in here to clean. As far as you can tell, at least. And maybe when you flicker on the lights, there are not exactly the same as yours, but maybe they're the same brand. A set of fairy lights above the bed and kind of encircling the bed come on.
Yeah, we kind of see the light sort of spill out from the room, illuminating Carolyn's shadow, and I think she just sort of steps in cautiously, looking around. Anything sparks a memory or has obvious relevance to the mission.
How often did you spend time back here? Like, how often did you spend time here before everything went sideways? Before
Not
you died?
not that often. We were both super busy. When we hooked up, it was usually like telepathically. It was just easier to not involve the meat. But I did have at least one sobbing breakdown in here. So there's been some time spent, but not as much as she probably would have liked. And of course, a lot of that is just like missing at this point.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's she sat at like the little work desk, and you're sobbing your eyes out on her bed, or she is sat on the end of the bed just talking aloud. I think as part of one of those, she you get like it's not like script, but it's that kind of vibe. You get like benefits that you can spend to get like X or Y or Z for your rooms if you want. And some people do have familial relationships in the rest of the Reach and so on. Some people get sent stuff. People sometimes just send you gifts in general because you're doing an important thing for the rest of the Reach, and people do. You're not on posters or anything, but people know who you are as an organization. But you remember at one point you remember Nova like tapping a panel and a exposing like the panel itself could slide up physically. It wasn't like mechanized or anything. But she had a small like USB projector looking thing. These big ass like halogen bulb looking things, and she would project pictures up, and she would project occasionally movies up. I bet not always, but I bet you've come up and the movie with her once or twice. Did.
Yeah, it did.
When you try to recall the memory, you get the IMDb description of the movie's plot.
And yeah, poking around in it, if I think the projector might have something, I'll extrude a wire from myself to stick into it. The usual. Just
Love to extrude a wire.
look, it's some of the
Same.
benefits of
It's
being
normal for
plastic now.
girls.
Yeah, it's normal for girl things. Yeah, she extrudes a wire. She uses her
One of the
eyes.
benefits.
Just one of the benefits, one of the many, many benefits. And yeah, just combing through the detritus.
Jack's in. It's got a basic file structure. I bet it's not password protected. This was in her room. There's a bunch of torrented movies. You've seen a couple of them, you think. Hard to tell. Some of them don't have anything, some of them are named whatever. It's the LimeWire thing of this is called this, but it's actually, Scooby-Doo, Monsters Unleashed. But it's called Trojan.exe, it's fine.
Yeah, it's normal.
Yeah. I think you noticed that a data drive was plugged in here for a long time. I think you notice that the device itself, in anticipation of this stuff being referenced pretty regularly, kept a like temporary cache of these files. I think given a little bit of coaxing, given a little bit of like retrieving those temporary files from whatever deletion cache where, you know, maybe if she powered it up without this device in once or twice more, they would have been removed, but she didn't, and she probably never will now, so they weren't. And you find a folder. That is it's Nova, and she's younger than you've ever seen her. Based on the outfit, at least in the beginning of the photo set, you guess she's a cadet. You know, she was probably younger than you were when you started. It is, and these are big projected images on the bare wall. She had a wall kept especially bare, or maybe, you know, it has a blanket hung up there normally, but you can take the blanket down to expose this bare white paneling that you can use to project movies or pictures in general. And it is Nova. She has you know, it's whatever her natural hair color is before it was dyed, and it is someone who looks a lot like her, a kid sister, you think. A head shorter again, so goddamn young. And it's them at the beach. It's sand as far as you can see, with a horizon of flowing waves. And you've never been anywhere like this. Not in your real or your physical memory, or even in the before time. There was never any space for it. Maybe there was a beach deck, you know, when the Reach was a colony, when the Reach was something optimistic, which wasn't just a push towards out of here. But this isn't a real beach. Even in this image, it's not a real beach. At some point, Nova sits on the edge of her bed and talks about the last time she was able to spend any meaningful amount of time with her sister before she passed. Ended up, you know, heading somewhere, a recreational clinic, like a recreational space. And it's, do you know what the fucking Disney Vision is?
Oh, is that the thing they
Or
shoot Star Wars
the
on?
Disney Motion? Yeah, it's whatever they shoot
the
Star Wars
volume?
on. The
Yeah, that
volume, there we go. The
horrible
Disney fucking
abomination
volume.
against God and nature. Yeah, that thing.
It's like a cylinder of green screens.
Yeah,
And
evil.
we're in the far future, and we're in the mechanical future in that way. So it's not exactly the same thing, but it's that vibe. It's projections all around you. It's something similar to what we just saw with Eridani in the cockpit. It's not a real beach, but it's as close as they were going to get, right? You can't go back to Cerulean. Rose couldn't be terraformed if they tried. They did try, and it was a mess. But it was a good memory. And she doesn't get any more of those with her sister. That's really the last time.
Oh, Nova, I hope you haven't gotten. I hope those ideas aren't being put into practice. And she will download the files, save them in her external hard drive, and get ready to head out to the hangar and suit up.
Any last look back at the room?
She makes a like sort of aborted attempt to do so before shaking her head, sort of like letting out a breath that she doesn't need, and her face just goes calm and placid. She is on a mission.
The fairy lights go out. The room is left in complete, not even complete darkness. There is still the beam of light from the doorway, and then the door slams down. Despite the fact that most things are manual, you still have Star Trek doors, because why wouldn't you?
For dramatic shots, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we had Sarah Carapace in the chat for a bit there. I'm
Oh,
glad you
no,
had a good time, Sarah. Hot
Oh, I'm
damn.
not thinking about that. Oh no.
Last year, I had Austin frickin' Ramsey in my beam saber game.
V,
You're
you have this effect on people.
God's
Austin,
strongest
if you're
soldier.
listening, I love you, and you're my favorite supporter in general. Great job, and I enjoyed having you in that game so much. Anywho, do we get a last gathering information shot with Shrike? What's she up to now? Sorry, Shrike is.
Shrike was at the bedside of
Yes.
Malice. Um, I was I was wondering if like get close would do anything just to like with the subconscious like things that she's able to express. If not, then I think the shot before like if Caroline is coming to like get people to be like it's time to suit up, um what Shrike is doing when she thinks no one is looking is she like takes Malice's like hand just gently in her own.
You slip your hand into the others, and Mouse's hand is small compared to yours, right? She's still growing. She's still new at this. And I think there is like a twitch and then a slight squeeze of your hand. I think if you want to try and reach out, you can.
Okay. Um uh what would I roll for that?
Mhm. Yeah, it's probably not cool bullshit, huh?
No,
Could be
it's
speak from the
not.
heart.
Okay. Yeah, like a communication of emotions. Um
Yeah. What are you
yeah.
saying? What is the? It doesn't have to be saying.
Yeah. I guess it's like a trying to like let my guard down and instead of like trying to provoke her to respond to me, to like communicate like I grew up here too, you know. I've been, you know, like picked on, I've been put into missions where I wasn't like able to take care of myself and thrown aside and like hurt and you know like no matter like how how prickly it's made me, like I've been where you are. And just trying to get back like what happened to you, because this is this has happened to me, like what happened to you.
Roll it. Let's see what the response is.
Okay. That's 2d4.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Double fours. Let's
Good
go.
roll.
Somebody is sparkling.
I think
Wait.
sparkling is with 3d4, but I'm tempted to
Oh,
give that
oh,
anyway.
oh shit.
Fuck it. Sarah Carpace
Come
has now left the
on.
chat, so
Yeah.
death of the author, I think.
I'm
I'm
sorry,
pretty sure
Sarah.
that's how it works.
Yeah.
I am, of
Okay.
course, goofing, and we greatly appreciate all of the game designers. And hey, I think there's a game bundle going on somewhere or another. If you haven't picked it up already, do it. I think some of my games are in there, and if that ain't a fucking sign of quality, I don't know what is.
I think the
I'm
game
sorry.
bundle's
What
gonna
were we
be
rolling
soon.
now?
But
Oh, is it not open yet? My bad.
yeah, you're good. But someday game bundle, keep eyes open. I was rolling for get close. Um should should that be gain insight or should that be I think that's get close because I was letting my guard down and being intimate with someone. Um and so they pick either to tell me a secret, give me something that they think that I want, or to tell me to slow down.
You can make a connection with Malice if you want.
Okay. Um,
I think what Malice gets you is, or what Malice gives you is. I mean, there's the obvious ones, right? It could be coordinates. It could be like flight plans. It could be what she was thinking, what she was feeling. Um,
could.
Obvious one.
Okay.
Afterwards, after all of that, while she was hanging in space, looking down on Rose, she caught a glimpse in subspace, deeper still, of wickedly pure, wickedly powerful violet matter, of the kind that there is something within all X10s that connects you to each other. There is a base template. There is a shared medium. There is a canvas that you are all written on, and the condensation, the what am I thinking of? Like chemicals.
Residue?
No, concentration. Duh. The
Okay.
concentration of that violet matter, of that density on the planet's surface, was beneath the planet's surface, seemingly, was so great.
Mm.
You get a glimpse of the feeling of kind of subspace, the ether below, where you are now up on the top, and you can feel the weight. You can feel the reverse peak. You can feel the very depths of whatever this is, where it was centered. And after this mess, hanging in a burnt out, torn to pieces X10, still beginning to knit around her, curled around her to keep her safe, to keep herself safe. She feels a hand on her shoulder and then on the scruff of her neck. All on the X10, of course, not within the cockpit, but
Yeah.
especially
your
in this
body.
state, it's all one. It's all
Yeah.
your body. Especially when you're hurt, especially when you're the cornered animal, when you're caged. Someone, like when you're drowning, someone catches you by the collar, someone pulls you by the life raft, and we get a glimpse of none of this in the animation. None of this shows the X10s themselves. It is floating in space. Malice's burnt, aching body, and pulled by the scruff of her pilot suit, is Nova sort of paddling her forwards back towards where you can still already see the blinking lights of a supply ship.
Excellent. So I think that Shrike like squeezes Malice's hand, like probably too hard for someone who is in a delicate medical situation, and like after receiving that, like, and like just like puts her arm back on her side, uh and uh yeah, like I have my connection to her as I respect her now. Um and uh I think she says, like, heal up, and when we come back, we'll spar sometime. Um and runs out to, like, go suit up to go do this.
Um, it's still lying on her back. Some time clearly passes. The light changes slightly, even just from a flickering hollow projection, and eye gently opening. Only she's still eye patched. Violet, lilac, iris, just visible. What we'll probably do is take a break, but obviously, we're about to sortie. We need to do the suiting up scene. What does this look like? What do you wear when you suit up? What does the launch sequence look like as your orbital bodies are pulling out?
I think we've got goo, right? We've got goo cockpits. So we
We've
probably
got
have
goo, right?
it's a goo. We've established goo in the setting.
Goo is canonical.
Canonical goo. That's a friends at the table character, maybe. Um,
Oh
uh,
boy.
so probably our suits are like Ava, sort of like swimsuit situations, so they don't get gooed up, right?
You gotta form a seal. You don't want every part of you getting gooey. That's unhygienic.
Yeah, love a plug suit.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So do we have like a hit the showers like plug suit like locker room situation?
I think that's as private or as not private as you want it to be, right? I think you can have 3 separate corridors if you want, but yeah, it's institutionalized in that way. It's you're all launching from the same bays,
Hmm.
the same catapult, maybe. The same engineering staff is running through the pre-flight checks for all of you.
Hmm.
There is a seamstress. There is someone whose job it is to weave your X10s. I'm fairly sure it's likely the same person for each of your X10s who shows up and when you get wrecked up, chides you guys for the mess you've made of her work. But she is, along with I believe they're called dressmakers, which is sick. But there are these engineering staff, these support staff doing those pre-flight checks, making sure everything is stable, making sure synchronization levels are where we need them to be.
Mhm.
And yeah, the whatever whatever shielding or what have you, whatever debris filtering at the end of the catapult is raised. And what does it feel like?
To, to boot up and set up the launch sequence.
To step out.
Mm.
I think it starts out as very disorienting, like showing like you were talking about with the film, where you have to like get but it is less like it becomes less disorienting where it starts as like a shock of like this connection and then becomes like, oh, I'm finally at home, this is my body, like waking up out of like I'm thinking about uh my friend who I went with, like waking up out of top surgery.
Mm. Coming out of anesthesia.
Yeah.
I love it how you had said that there was like whatever that central thing to an X10 is that connects all of them sort of together, and we're all sort of plastered on this sort of psychic canvas, right?
Hmm.
I love the idea of at least for Eridani, it's this act of tuning out the noise and finding the signal. And that is when you can sort of get up and do stuff. And so very disorienting, a lot of noise, and it's looking for that silver lining, and that's when all the systems go green. And you go
I
from this sort of hodgepodge to a single self. Yeah.
I think for Carolyn, it's like getting a full body tattoo. There's like a
Wow.
cable that sort of like chunks into her back, and there's like prickling all over, and it hurts, but it doesn't hurt that much. And then it eventually equalizes out into a sense of, oh, my body is more my body now. It feels more right. And then she, begins to glide around in the X10. It's much more jubilant and free than she normally is.
There's less, in my mind, when Caroline moves, it's quite efficient. Is there
Mhm.
more flourish to it?
Oh yeah, she is. It's like a ballet dancer.
Mm.
There's still that efficiency, but that efficiency is more directed into looking good than being the best little soldier girl.
And I think we see the orbital bodies stepping out into space. We see the glowing dot. orbital bodies can move in a space beyond space, right? Distance is a suggestion as opposed to a hard rule. It's not especially hard to move from the main reach stations, the main sort of reach flotilla, to the planet's surface, to the world below. And we see that distance passing. We see that quick step. We see the planet growing before you. We see the bodies of your orbital. Well, we see the orbital bodies themselves, glazed in the light of the planet below. And I thought we might take a break here, maybe for 10 minutes, if that sounds good to folks.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Perfect.
Thank you, Ten.
Cole, are we happy to set that up? I should have asked. That would have been a polite thing to do, I feel.
Uh-oh.
Are we good to take a break for 10? Is that something you're able to facilitate? Yep. All right, cool. We'll see you in 10 minutes for the thrilling conclusion, gamers. good. It's fine. One's lilac and one's violet. It's all good.
This is coming from the colorblind girl.
Yeah, I don't fucking know. Is lilac and violet the same thing?
No.
It's
Oh.
all shades of distinction.
I might
Oh,
even say it's live lack.
Uh,
I don't get it.
the people, they can see us again.
Oh, I see. Hi, welcome back. This is Violet Core. We are in the midst of the Roll Plus Bond 72-hour charity live stream. You'll better have donated to Medical Aid for Palestine. If not, I'll know because I've got the Tiltify stream up here. Over the course of the stream, I can see Ari donated $50, I think. Thank you. Thank you specifically. You did a good job. I'm giving a thumbs up to the camera, which is weird because the camera isn't even on. You know, put forward what you can. Look out for people if you can. Whatever you are doing, I'm proud of you, right? We in the first part, does anyone wanna tell the group where we got to in the first part?
We
It's
It's
did
possible. I
some
should have set you
investigating.
guys up to do so.
No.
Pop quiz.
There will be a test.
Yes, yes.
That was 2 hours. Given a briefing by Juliet, who is Caroline and Shrike's handler, not Eridani's handler, that Malice, a new pilot, while flying by Rose, her mech was taken out along with the other vehicles that were with her. And she was hauled back, but is very injured, and her mech has been significantly damaged. Does someone want to take another leg?
Well, I would say, you know, our crew did some investigating, had some reactions to information learned, some of which were positive, some of which weren't, and getting ready to head out on sortie.
A solid gathering information all round. Very little trauma. All was well, I think. You bonded with the next generation of pilots, which is, you know, very important, very good for team cohesion. What else do you need? We rejoined the pilots with the orbital bodies, like pinwheeling slowly towards the surface of Rose. It is like an ice and desert planet. It is, you know, an equivalent of Mars, something along those lines, right? It is rusty orange. Um, it is desert storms. It is bitterly cold after dark. You feel the tug of gravity on your bodies. Orbital bodies, of course, built in space, designed for space, really. Even on a planet with a weak atmosphere like Rose, there is a drag. There is a weight. Something being held down by gravity, but it probably won't come up again. I wouldn't worry about it. The surface of Rose is pockmarked and scarred. Um, there was a terraforming effort, there was a colonization effort, and every single thing that could go wrong did go wrong. It culminated in some of that intergalactic debris, the convergence, spearing through one of the principal space stations that was supporting this colonization, this terraforming effort, and bringing it to ground here. And it was a Reach space station. There is a discomfort to coming here, and often why Reach ships, Reach pilots don't, because the surface of the planet is pockmarked with the kind of space stations that you live in every day. Oddly enough, the population is not high here. You know, orbital bodies are strong things. You're able to push through the wind and the gravity and the strength, just hostility of the planet itself, but you feel it drag against you. What you know so far is that something on the surface or possibly below the surface exerted a tremendous deal of weight and pressure and strength agency on Malice's orbital body from seemingly the surface, and enacted this horrible mess upon it. You did catch a glimpse of Nova Fall in Malice's own recollections here. Obviously, I'm going to assume, unless you guys say specifically that you kept anything, that you have 100% transfer of information here. What are you doing? What's the first shot of you guys here?
I think, are we just like heading towards the coordinates that we
Yeah,
have?
I think you have a grasp on it, right? You know where stuff seems to have come from. I think what you see drawing closer and always on the surface of Rose in the distance has this kind of ridiculous engineering piece. It was 30, 40 years just building it. You see this column stretching further skyward still, the remnants of the sling left in its kind of inactive standby state. And you're not quite beneath it, but you're within a range of it. You can see this obelisk of a thing looming overhead. The surface here is more pockmarked still. There are deep canyons and chasms, and I think touchdown is a strong word, but you pause looking down into this open crevasse where you can see this deeper orange still. You can see beneath the surface even more pieces of the space station as it was, something that was never designed to come within atmosphere, having been sort of flung down into it, stretched out across a continent's worth of landmass. And deep below, you see blinking lights.
I think that Shrike probably is, well, isn't Eridani going to be the lead? Eridani's probably supposed to be in the lead, and Shrike is probably like too close behind, like where it might be like a problem if Eridani wasn't such a good pilot.
Yeah, vibes. I think I'd be pulling up the front, yeah. Vanguard shit.
Mm-hmm. You're explicitly supposed to be in charge of us.
Yeah, that is true. Look, I can lead from the back too. I'm not picky.
Yeah. There is a reason why Eridani isn't the captain or whatever, right? I think the Reach recognize that you are individuals and that the strength of orbital bodies are you as individuals and your connections and so on. I also think if they said that Eridani was the captain of the mission, we would have exactly the same. There would be no difference in terms of what this shot looks like or how you behave, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Do we have vibes on what our mechs look like? Do we want to go through that?
I do. So Eridani's mech is called the Bad Trip. In the book, it's classified as a jester type of orbital body. The jester is it's a rogue, right? And so rogues are very tricksy, right? They're able to, you know, play with their food, so to speak. And I would describe so there is in Persona 5, one of the characters has a persona by the name of Loki, and Loki looks a lot like sort of Dazzler painting, the kind of paint job you put on like a marine vessel to make it hard for radar to pick up on it, I think. Whatever kind of signal intelligence stuff that you would use to see where an object is in space, there are certain kinds of paint jobs that you can do that can mess that up in some way. So it's sort of painted like that. and it's very sort of disorienting to look at. I also think that the bad trip is almost like fresh out of the box in terms of like there's very little detailing on it aside from this sort of monochromatic, uh, disorganized striping. And the reason why I say that is because if you were to hit it, or if you were to, or if it were to activate any of its weapons or anything like that, that is where you get more prismatic color. It's only in the action that you get to see some of that sort of base, sort of default painting, sort of peel off and reveal a very richly colored interior. Um, yeah, that's the vibe.
Reed, it sounded like you had vibes too.
I do. I was trying to figure out what if I had like a pop culture reference for this sort of like proportional thing. And what I've found is the Eggman mech from Sonic Boom. It's just
Fascinating.
where it's just like a very large, like central, like area with like big spiky like shoulders and like big fists, and then kind of like weird little legs that are mostly like a big boot like foot situation that are like a little bit like spindly, but like with like a big boot. So it's like a big circle, but importantly, the big circle sort of like splits in half, and my back is uh it is called uh the I'm trying to come up with a mech name on the spot. I'm sorry. um my mech is yeah, it's called The Last Meal. It is an ogress class. And its big special thing is that it does eat people. It can do that.
It's hungry.
It's hungry. It's angry. It's monstrous and unstable. And fury and resentful. Furious and resentful.
And it's beautiful.
Aw shucks. You tell that to everyone you pilot alongside?
You say that to all the girls.
Oh yeah. I've heard you do it too. You're not successful half the time, so I don't know what I think it'd work on me.
Doesn't make me any less right.
The success rate is pretty good as well.
Playing averages.
Yeah. A 1 to 2 kill death ratio, that's not bad, I assume. Caroline, what do you pilot?
Caroline pilots a Gorgon class witch Violet Core. Hers is called My Other Half. It is sort of like, you know how the machines in the Matrix are kind of squid-like? It's kind of like, what if a person had like a squid for a head? It moves sort of like that, very fluid, almost swimming and dancing at the same time. Yeah, it's got all sorts of blinking lights and smooth polymers, very much the same type of stuff as her meat body. Well, not meat body anymore, her smaller body. And yeah, I think she's
Body.
yeah, she's providing sort of like Overwatch at this point, just sort of like circling behind the two of them who are trying to be up front.
Because you said the other half in chat, I posted my orbital body still misses me, but her aim is getting better. I think
Ugh.
when you pass above the chasm again, in this kind of Overwatch space, in this at a distance space, I got a laugh from someone in chat, so thank you. I feel good. You can see these little pinpricks of light far below. This is 10 orbital body heights down, right? These are tears in the planet's surface that go far down. What do you do? Is there any dialogue here? Is there any discussion between you?
Okay, so I told you all it kind of looked like the planet was like evil. So we should probably go in and see what's up.
Too late to change the notion of the planet being evil.
What's the gravity
That's
like?
what I took from that.
Oh, What is the gravity like? How long are you looking for?
I'm looking like the whole time, like as like we're going into like as we're doing like a planar injection. I'm constantly checking the ticker and my heart monitor.
Doing calculations.
Um, this is woman's high school grasp of physics. I assume that the magnetic field is constantly flowing and sort of minutely changing anyway. And that is the case on Rose in this moment. But I think you do occasionally, and maybe this is something. No, I like it better if it's something that you specifically notice because you're doing it. You can feel twitches and judders in it.
Mm-hmm.
Just on occasion, every once in a while, and you pick up that it kind of gently reaches a like an an equator, an equator, like an equilibrium, and then continues to kind of where previously it was falling, it's now rising.
Yeah.
And I think you're tapping out some calculations based on what you've seen, and you pick up that it's about a 10-hour like a 10-hour half-life. It kind of reaches a certain peak and then it goes down again for 5 hours and then it picks up again and goes for yeah, it's around a 10-hour almost like an inhale and an exhale. That kind of rhythm, right? Or the tide going in and out, or the sun rising and falling. There is a I can't off the top of my head come up with that word for some reason, but you know what I mean. That is
it's oscillating.
yeah, it's like a 10-hour length oscillation.
Got it.
Are we at high tide or low tide? Do we know?
Roll a d2.
Ooh, okay.
Flip a coin. Or else.
It's low tide. As
All
far as you
right.
can tell. Yeah, it's obvious enough. There is a yeah, we travel below zero, and it is like it's in the grand scheme of things, it's very minute compared to the overall force of the planet, right? But there is this gentle rhythm to it. What are you doing?
Should we try and should we just go down into the crevice?
Yeah.
All right. Is Eridani trying to lead the way, or
Yes.
will Shrike? Okay. Then Shrike is continuing to like act like she's possibly like leading the way, like too close behind you.
You're backseat driving.
And
I'm backseat driving.
And I say over the comms, are you backseat driving, or are you just trying to look at my ass?
Does that thing have an ass? It's all kind of like pinions from here.
Something you haven't seen before. I'm sure you can imagine.
Oh yeah, I'm following you so close so that I can imagine your ass better.
Yeah,
It's
you
really
Yeah, I've had that kind of relationship.
because you're so slow. It's not that difficult terrain.
Yeah, but look, just shut up.
You've got nothing. Wow. Okay.
Don't need anything. I'm actually working now.
Oh, hustle's here. We've got some hustle going.
Take a page from my book. Maybe you might learn something.
I think that does kind of shut Shrike up a little bit.
Pigeon, focus. We're on a mission.
Let me see, because like I'm also trying to like. It's a weird thing for her to try to like follow a feeling,
Mm-hmm.
but she's kind of like she's clenching. She's like tensing, looking for, or rather anticipating that like surge that she felt when she was doing the simulation and experiencing that planetary phenomena, right? Like she's like kind of sort of waiting with bated breath for it to sort of like show itself or spike or something like that. Um, but also like that's also data, right? And so she knows what that would look like on her readings, for example. So I think there's enough here for her to want to like try to triangulate where it might have like originated from. And she's wondering like
Yeah.
how close she is to it.
I feel like maybe you've got. I don't know that they're like printouts, but I feel like you've got, there's a secondary screen within your orbital body's cockpit, and that's got like a literal CSV stream of the data that you've managed to pull out of the black box.
Mm-hmm. And I should say here that
Comparing it live with your own
her approaching
instruments.
this carefully is out of character for her. Had I not done that first investigation role, she would have just gone into it without sort of thinking. The thinking would come when she was actually put under duress, but when it comes to actually getting in there and getting in there quick, she would have done it without a second thought. But now she's had like not like the full brunt, but she's had an experience, and now that experience has taught her, do not do that. Which of course this is then brought to her attention by Shrike, and of course she just tries to deflect it with a joke. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
Do you want to try and roll something here? Is this something you are actively searching for?
Oh yeah.
Or is it something that you're bracing yourself in anticipation of?
No, this is definitely it's a little bit of both. I think she's doing one in order to do the other. You know what I mean? Um, this smells like draw near to me. I could also see an argument for synchronize as well, just because it's more about like getting the vibe, so to speak. Um, yeah, but I think draw near is making the most sense to me.
What do we think this is as a move?
Oh, as a move, that's a fantastic question.
That's why they call me the questioner.
You gain insight.
Yeah, again, insight makes sense. Let me see if I have anything specifically from Shining Star. The answer is no. Okay. So we're just gonna we're gonna get some insight.
Yeah, I was thinking about take shelter, but there's nothing terribly valuable there.
Yeah.
It could be a reach out as well.
Reach out.
In this case, Eridani, would you like connection dice?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Dice in
think
this trying time.
yeah, I will offer you my special D4, and I think this is represented fictionally as Caroline's sort of like Overwatch. She's also wigged out about this whole thing, and she has some remaining psychic senses still, and she is feeding you data that she's getting from her own instruments.
Awesome. So I'm being like further supplemented with more data. I love that. More numbers, more crunchy numbers.
I think Shrike is not emotionally intelligent enough to recognize what's happening and is feeling personally rejected. So it's not helping.
Oh, the slight like pushback as well from kind of Eridani and then Caroline as well. Interesting.
By the way, I just want to note you get a bonus dice as well as replacing one of your own because I am helping you well in my X10 and my body blurs with my X10. So
That's good to know. So, we is it that you roll, then we replace one of your dice with Caroline's, and then we add an additional one on top?
So I'm still rolling 4 dice. Just one of them is not mine.
Yes, well, no, you're rolling 5 dice because you get a bonus as well.
Ah, okay. Right.
Burgers and fries.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Roll it, dear God, please.
So is it that I'm rolling 4, and so it's your die, so you can roll that one then.
I could roll the last 2 because I'm giving you 2 technically,
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So I'm gonna roll my 3.
and I'll roll 4.
1 success.
1 extra success because my connection dice
Oh,
help out
because
on a
it
2 as
succeeds on
well.
a 2 and a 4.
Oh, they hit on a 2. Hell yeah, 2 successes. Okay.
Nice.
2 success. That's not quite sparkling, but still, you're rising. And what did we say this was in the end? Gain insight?
Yes.
You do that. So you can pick one of the particular answers there as you are, edging your way down into this crevice, into the darkness. Somewhere on your orbital bodies are. I like to think that maybe there's just kind of a glow to your orbital bodies in general. They're a little. I was fucking playing RuneQuest, which is a game from 1,000 years ago. But one of the things in that game was that being more powerful made you worse at sneaking. And the joking justification we had for it as a group, at least as a table, was that by being more powerful, you just give off kind of radiance and a lack of settling within the world that makes you more easy to pick out. But I like the idea of this kind of ambient lighting to the X10s as well. What question? What question would you ask of me, Solus?
That's a great question. Let's see. From Gain Insight, it's I am able to get a solid idea on where this subject is from.
Is it? I'm able to get a solid idea is from as well. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Well, I'm already presuming it's from this planet, and so like now that we're already in the local area, I would be able to get a bead on it.
There's a lander. There is a. Maybe American schools didn't have this, but UK schools definitely did. UK schools have these temporary like blocks of classrooms. They're like they use a lot of site offices and stuff like that on construction sites actually as well. There are these temporary buildings, right? This is essentially one of those. It is a temporary structure with engines strapped on, and you land it somewhere when you're doing scientific research or mineral testing or something like that. There is one kind of parked up, and that's one of the things that you caught the blinking lights from. It is of all technology in the Reach, the area, not just the Reach, your faction. All technology within the Reach has a similar sort of common ancestor, right? Everything originally came from Cerulean, even though it then broke off into the Reach and the Homebound and the Celestial Embrace. This is a slightly different design. It's to common Reach as a faction technology, at least. It is a temporary, like work ship or side office ship or exploratory vessel. But it is very efficiently and sparsely designed. It is the minimum viable product. We are building this as safely as we can with the amount of resources that we have been allocated for this. It also doesn't have a Reach vessel of a similar design would have to have certain markings and whatnot projected or painted onto the side. Just in terms of like, worst comes to worst, and a supply ship hit it or something like that. It would need to have identifying markings on it, and this doesn't. And I think, what else do you see? What else do you feel? It's where it's from that you get. You aren't at war with the other factions of the Reach. You're not. Combat is play as much as it is combat. It is champions as much as it is war. You are not at war with the other factions of the Reach. You've seen ships from the other factions. At the end of the day, even though space is mind-bogglingly big, you're all kind of sharing similar territory, and you have seen ships of similar design in the past, usually from the Celestial Embrace. It's unusual for them to be planet. It's unusual for them to be planet-side in general. It's unusual for them to be sort of coming this close to the sling in general, because it's kind of a no man's land situation in terms of Cerulia really doesn't like people going anywhere near the sling. One of the conditions of the ceasefire between Cerulia and the wider Spacer communities was quit fucking around with the sling. So it's concerning and maybe stressful and at least for the moment, you have like you have like ticker tape running once every 10 seconds to tell you, what that tide metric looks like, what that gravity spike looks like. And right now it's consistent at least, but you can't help the hairs on the back of your neck staying up.
We've got something here.
Yeah, it's like just like a shed?
Said
Is
it was a lander, yeah?
Is that Embrace Tech? What are they doing so close to... Oh, this can't bode well.
I was just about to ask, do you catch any ship selves out there? I'm like, do you catch any orbital bodies? Are there any other orbital bodies on this planet besides ours?
Not on the
Good
scans.
question.
How do you find out? In terms of mission reports, there are no other, to your knowledge at least, up to your level of clearance. You think that if you were treading on toes of another Reach mission, Director Juliet probably would have told you. Caroline, Shrike, maybe you have different feelings about that. Maybe that varies depending on the mission. But you suspect it's if there are other orbital bodies on planet, it's not one of ours.
Okay, so there's other people here, maybe. Maybe they don't know everything. The people who send us out here.
That's exactly what they did.
They explicitly don't, right? It's a fact-finding mission.
Yeah.
They don't know how this came about.
I hope there are other orbital bodies out here, so I've been kind of itching to get in a fight.
Well, you're lucky you're gorgeous. The rest of us will have to make do with doing our actual job. And do we like get any life sign readings from
Wait, are you saying because she's hot, she's gonna get all the attention?
Well,
Yeah, I think so.
yes.
That's my job, right? Show up and be hot and attract all the bitches away from you too.
Why are you taking my bitches?
I mean, why aren't you coming with them?
Oh, you want me to hit you in the face?
That's what I literally just said.
Well, you should have just... Alright, fine.
Yeah?
Caroline, you receive a text message.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, no.
Long man communication, not open channel. It's a channel you don't remember, but your X10 does.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Mm.
The
Are
body
you
keeps score.
babysitting someone? NF.
Sorry, what was the... I didn't hear you.
Are you babysitting someone? NF.
I think I sent back babysitting, peacekeeping. It's all the same. Was the gravity well you?
It isn't. NF. It wasn't me specifically. NF. Babysitting definitely isn't the same. NF. What are you
The
doing here, Caroline? NF.
We're investigating the anomaly. CH.
What they're calling me now? NF.
I'm We're more talking about the gravitational weapon, but if that's you, then yes. CH.
It's not going to be a weapon. It's just a NF.
It's not too late to come back. CH. I don't remember, but I think I miss you. CH.
Ooh.
You don't remember? NF?
I lost part of my brain matter. CH.
What? NF.
I think you were there. CH.
I knew it was a mess. I didn't think NF. What
Look,
do
just
you
tell
remember?
us where you
NF?
are. CH. Not much.
Yeah.
CH.
Tell us. NF.
Well, me. CH.
Good
Which
cover.
is it? NF.
Whichever gets you to come home. CH.
If you don't even remember me, why do you want me back? NF.
I think I loved you. CH.
Message send failed.
And then over open comms. Fuck. Fuck. Okay. Um, Nova's here. She knows we're here. Guard up. I don't know what's coming next.
Permission to shoot your girlfriend?
No, denied.
Tough. You're not my boss. And
Open arms,
Eridani,
Caroline.
you little worm, you will listen to me. You are not going to shoot Nova, or I'm going to blow your own head off.
I wonder what a court
Hey.
martial looks like on your shiny little skin. And I rock it off.
Fuck. Fuck. Shrike, you listen to me. You do not lay a finger on her, I swear to any remaining heavenly power that's still watching.
You literally can't tell us what to do.
It's almost as if your CO said weapons free.
Yeah. And second off, like, if you want to turn this mission into a hookup, then you should have done it on a mission where we don't have tradies in the hospital wing.
It's not a hookup, it's a rescue operation. God, you two are so thick.
Thank you.
Fucking Christ. And she will also start rocketing off after Iridani.
Shrike is, yeah, right. I'm assuming when she was talking to Shrike, she like literally was like grabbing her. Shrike is like right off as soon as she can.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Give us the lesbians fee.
We get a cutaway to a little bit of a younger Nova fall. It's a similar early sortie, back when she's still kind of top of the leaderboard. Finds an unusual impact crater, darts away from her, support ships from her testing, monitoring capabilities. Pick something up of interest. There are 5 objects, the fingertips, so called because there's 5 of them and they're vaguely cylindrical. Totally perfect shape. Mostly 4 totally perfect shape. 1 tiny, tiny, tiny piece splintered off. Very small. Even compared to an orbital body, it's the size of a baseball. Wearing a proper spacesuit, not just a bodysuit, face coverings, a bit more padding around it, protecting your, scurrying around, stepping out, picking it up, stashing it somewhere in the cockpit where the maintenance crew won't see. Furtive communications, someone at the Celestial Embrace who sounds like maybe they can do something about it. Sounds like maybe they can get you guys out of this impasse that you've been in for years at this point. Rose could never be home. The moon's possible, but it's just stations again. And Cerulia never wanted you back. But it takes a little while, but this seamstress, she finds out later, at the Celestial Embrace, says that she could do something about it. With that kind of thing. Could do something really special. You're pinwheeling through these tight turns and switchbacks. There are collapsed pieces from above where the surface itself has given way to these underground caverns, pieces of space station errata. We get a similar cut, where previously it might have been the window of the hospital wing. We now see a smashed room, a blown out window, and we see one of the orbital bodies rush past it, momentarily illuminating the scene before it's left back in its dusky, gloomy orange.
We're just like racing each other's corridor.
I think so. I think it is flat out. I think it is. You have an idea as to you're still calculating, you're still running that math, you're still working out. And I think Caroline has that visibility too, in terms of you're still seeing where these fluctuations, where these discrepancies, where this tide is emanating from, and you're narrowing it down. It's, 10 miles still, but you're narrowing it down.
Mm-hmm.
If there were another orbital body out there, how would you tell?
Follow the gravity well.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Who's fastest?
Oh, good question.
Looking at, I think Shrike's mech is kind of clunky, so she's probably not, but she also would be someone who would like grab onto someone's leg or like push even though it's like tight quarters.
Who are you shoving by? Is it Caroline? Is it
I
it
think
Eridani?
Eridani took off first, so I think that Caroline and Shrike are in the most shoving distance.
Yeah, I think that's probably right, and I think you probably are effective at shoving her because Caroline's mech is kind of girl twink-esque, so I think it's
Yeah.
pretty effective.
Yeah, I probably shove you like harder than I think that mean to, and like send you spinning off.
Yeah.
Or like, if you like, like we're here. I'm trying to think of what I'm leveraging here, because I think at the same time that I push you, I'm like, you say like you're saving someone, but like, do you even know who it is anymore? Like,
Shrike know about the crush.
yeah, I do know that Nova was not the person who caused damage. I just want to push someone.
And I think Caroline, tries to hold on, probably leaves a couple of scratches in your paint as her claws try to scuttle for purchase, but she doesn't find it and slams against a canyon wall and is muttering under her breath, shit, 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 shit. And it's not going great for her.
That sucks.
I think it's harm. I don't think it's a capital H, harm. But you feel the glow of heat, the burn as you slam into a cave wall behind you.
Yeah, Shrike calls like, keep up salvage.
Yeah.
Everybody up ahead. Brace yourself. Can you brace yourself? You're traveling fast and you're running hot, I think. It's that sounded like things got all heated back there. Is that right? How's your composure? Arnie?
Who, me? Ah, yes, me. My composure. Ooh, I am running
Well,
low.
Eridani's composure.
Oh, okay. We're both very excited.
I see.
I
It's
think
warm for both of you.
yes, I think for her, she's more jazzed than anything. Like she's like a little exhilarated right now. I think that's where she's at. She's a little hyper, I'd say.
No, I think vis-a-vis bracing the answer is probably not. There's a sensation of down being up and up being down just for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like a kick, like a throw, like a wave machine.
Yeah.
And I think you can catch yourself on the rock wall again, but I think you taste blood in the back of your mouth.
Hot.
There's it doesn't feel exactly the same because you're yourself. You are in yourself. And you wonder if if you were in the same situation as Malice, whether you'd have been able to push on through it, or
Yeah,
at least not quite as heavily
I
impacted.
don't think she tries to fight it is the thing. You know what I mean? I think she tries to give herself to it until she can sort of feel where the curves are, where the gaps are, you know. And then eventually do like a toggle switch here and modulate accordingly. It's like a key change. You can harmonize with that rather than being scared of the dissonance. You can just sort of play along with it instead.
Yeah, I think it is almost like a going limp sensation. It is pushing forward where you can and where you can't. It is letting the sensation spill from your muscles and letting whatever it is carry you. Shrike, I think you come pushing into the same space. I think there is, and maybe it's not as. No, you know what's more fun? You come around the corner and forgive me, your orbital body's name, Hardy?
The bad trip.
You see the bad trip hanging limp for just a moment. What do you do?
I probably don't slow down enough and run into it.
I think that's right, and I don't think it's it's not as pronounced as it is for Malice's orbital body, right? I think she was taken completely unawares. I think it was a good deal stronger in that space, but I do think you're thrown around. I do think it's overwhelming. I think you do maybe not blink back tears, but you grit your teeth. You feel your teeth scrape against each other as you're thrown around in the cockpit.
Hey, Reed,
Yeah.
do you taste my blood in your mouth?
Holy shit. Yeah.
Intimacy. That's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So I'm being fucking thrown around. What do I also like does my mech like get stopped?
So this felt like something that you can push through, I think.
Okay.
You have a good deal more experience than Malice. And also you didn't feel Malice actually going through it, but you felt the after effects of it on her.
Yeah.
I think you could choose to push through it.
Yeah, I'm going to yeah, keep like hurtling forwards. I guess what this like looks like is that I like shove like I kind of barrel into the bad trip like and uh like shunt it like a fucking like a curling batch situation where the stones like bounce off of each other. Like freeze up for a second and like continue forwards.
Momentum, despite the fact that we're in space, and that's definitely not a thing, but it's all good.
I forget.
No, you know what? We're
space
planet side,
works.
regardless.
There's
Um,
gravity.
Space is fake, and we're in orbital bodies anyway. We can do literally whatever we want. It's all good.
That's right.
That's right. Um, you push out into a larger cavern, and we'll go back to Caroline in a moment. But you push back into a larger cavern, and what you see is someone's clearly been here for a while, but not as long as you'd expect. There's more not even construction vehicles, because it's not as large scale as that. There's maybe like asteroid hopper style vehicles. There's little dribs and drabs, whatever they could afford, whatever they could scrounge together, whatever they could buy. There is, and it's another sense memory for you. It's when did Shrek start being a pilot? Like, when was how old were you when you first saw your orbital body? Work in progress.
Work in progress. I think probably like 11 maybe. Is that
I like that.
yeah.
You were introduced to your dressmaker. It's the same woman that we saw an hour ago. It is, someone in the, like, in my mind, it's a seamstress, I should say. They're the ones who lead a squad of dressmakers. It's someone in a particular kind of jumpsuit, which is reminiscent but totally different to the mechanics that we'd seen. It is, they have almost a degree of ceremony to them. They are kind of a law unto themselves. It is someone walking you through the initial like synchronization tests, pricking your fingers and seeing how you respond, asking you seemingly random questions about what makes you angry, what gets your hackles up, making you stand on the balls of your feet for a few moments, monitoring, testing, feeling the skin of your cheeks, feeling your forehead, checking into your eyes. And then they let you see it when it's still growing.
This is like
They
a
let you see.
docile Shrike. This is like a Shrike with like hair in a ponytail. Like now, like she's got like a hacked off like shag look. Like this is like Kid Shrike at like 11 is less the way that she is.
We're going to do Violet Core Babies, the spin-off next year. Actually, it's going to be really good. So stick around for that. It'll be a good time. And they take you to the loom. They take you to a big industrial construction rig with arm after robotic arm. There's a reason why it's called a loom, right? Orbital bodies aren't just built, they are stitched, they are woven, they are pulled together from a tiny, 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 tiny piece of violet matter. And you see your body, the soon-to-be meal, being brought together. You can practically see it when you reflect back on this. You can practically see the body coming together, welcoming you.
Mm-hmm.
And we see something similar here. We see a similar rig, a frame like you might use to park an orbital body, similar to the ones that we saw in your hangar bay. We see some of the same kind of construction arms. We see some bigger, more industrial duty ones. Some of them are just cranes that have been repurposed. There are power conduits everywhere, littering the huge floor. This is all at a ridiculous scale, and spilling up into the distance, dotting off into other tunnels. And in the very center of the space on this rig is the same piece of violet matter that we saw shorn from the fingertips, a baseball-sized piece of violet matter, bigger than anyone's thought to build an orbital body off of. And they can't have been going at it for more than a few months. It takes more than a year to build one orbital body, and in 3, 4, maybe 5 months, there's a shoulder and there is an arm and there is part of what might eventually grow around a cockpit. And the arm spasms and twitches and the hand opens and closes, and you're able to see the synthetic muscle bend and buckle and ache. I've been going to the gym recently. Terrible idea, wouldn't recommend. And I can feel my muscles being stitched and restitched as I desperately try and make myself in any way a functional human being. And that's what happens every time this thing moves. It's the Shadow the Hedgehog meme about breaking every single one of your bones to move. And you feel another rush, another tide, another ebb and flow all at once. And you are forced to brace. You're forced to hold onto the cavern wall.
Is this
Caroline, are you still trying to sorry, please.
Oh yeah. Is this like a wave that like radiates, like it hits everyone, or is it just hitting me?
No, sorry, by you I did mean both yourself and Eridani.
Okay. Do we also get this sort of psychic rollover connection?
Not psychic, but textural.
Okay.
Someone tries to bounce a stone against the canvas that your orbital bodies are drawn on.
Got it. So it's almost like if you're like sitting on top of
You're standing on a trampoline and someone drops a bowling ball.
That's what yeah. And we're like we've ended
Mecha
up
fiction
like,
is fun,
running
guys. I
together.
recommend everyone playing at least one mecha game. It's a good time.
We can cut back to Caroline. I just wanted that texture.
No, I like it a lot. Thank you so much. Caroline, where are you? Are you still trying to catch up?
Yeah, I think if at all possible, like that, I'm sort of frantically sending messages along that dead comms channel, like they're coming, get out, run, things of this nature.
it's a left and then a right and then a down and then a left again, and then you catch yourself just before you cross into a beam saber and gash open your own neck.
Oh, fun.
It's not a beam
Uh,
saber, it's a
it's a
orbital
violent
pin.
core.
It's a weapon. It
Yeah.
is a but it's not a hard weapon. It's a way to get you to stop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And through whatever way she managed to do so, there is Nova in her old X10. It's probably been repainted slightly. There's probably it's the same sort of white and blue construct, but maybe it had shoulder pins that denoted that it was a Reach suit, and those have been extracted and painted over. Or maybe your orbital body doesn't look the same as it did when you first got it. Your orbital body grows and changes as you do. And maybe it just shrugged off the lapel pins, you know? But
Mm-hmm.
she's there, she's facing you.
Nova, think. Oh my god, I found you. You have to get out of here now. They're coming for you.
Do I still call you Caroline or what? Is that what you
Yes,
prefer?
yes, that's still my name.
All right.
I'm still me, just, I was in an accident.
You're in an accident because you went after me without wanting to come with me. You're in an accident because you went after me. Right? Do you remember that far?
It's a bit hazy, but you can still get out of here. I can say that you beat me, and it'll be bad for my record, but I'm nowhere near the top of the class anyway, and you can be safe.
Why? You were the only person worth a fucking damn there. What do you mean you're not anywhere near the top?
Well, my connection to subspace isn't as strong as it once was. Brain matter damaged. The OS simulates most of the functions, though. It's still me.
Simulated, huh?
Look, you can worry about me later. I promise I will send you messages or whatever, but you just need to get out of here. Okay?
This isn't about you texting me. What?
I
It's
I
good
don't
to know
know.
you're okay. I thought you were dead. I moved on because I thought you died. There was a Zulka. Do you remember?
I remember the impact.
Those things kill you dead.
I got better.
From dying?
Yeah, I have a new body now. It's really comfortable.
Does it look the same?
Sort of. You want a selfie? And, sends over like a very practice professional e-girl selfie over the comm channel.
Goth LinkedIn picture. Her cockpit door opens.
Nova, what are you doing? You need to leave. I'm not worth it.
Even if these chuckle fucks you're with are the top of the fucking board, they didn't notice me 2 tunnels over listening in on your communications. Why do you all just talk about fucking each other?
Well, it's fun relief. Um, But again, not the concern. Please, for me.
The door and I'll think about it.
She opens the door, the cockpit door, sort of steps out into the hand of her X10, sort of tentacles of her squid head whipping behind her, haloing her.
And can I break up this meet cute?
Yes, please.
Okay, because the minute she opens that door, I'm like, I could smell you from a mile fucking way, and pew pew.
You're immediately opening fire. What's the reaction?
Um,
You know what? Fucking Nova moves first.
mhm.
I think it is a stumble. It's a roll. It is doing a barrel roll to catch a. I don't know why I thought immediately of a s'more, but something small and bite-sized and stuffing it into your mouth as you move. It is her spilling herself back into her cockpit, the X10 moving without her. Sometimes X10s move. You know?
Yeah, who knows what they
She's
put in
cool.
that thing?
You have a pretty good idea, but you're not a seamstress, probably. A muffled curse. I think she is on open comms channels now because it's fun. Oh, what are you supposed to be? Wait, you're one of Hall's little sports kids, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm about to run a fucking lap around you.
Not if I have anything to say about it, and, positions herself in between the two.
Oh, come the fuck on. Really?
This is the
What are
one
you
thing
doing?
I'm making a choice.
Oh, so you're the jealous type.
Course.
Okay.
You don't know me. You simulatedly know me.
Good enough for me. And, the tentacles start whirring, horrible echoing chorus starts pouring out of the other half.
Honestly, I don't know what's worse. Me trying to fight your ex-girlfriend or you trying to rekindle a relationship.
Look,
Sorry,
she
please.
texted first, okay? And,
He's here. What? I'm still in the conversation.
and no, you're going to run like a smart person. Get the fuck out of here, Nova.
You died last time we hung out. You can't tell me off for not running.
I can get better again. Don't worry about me.
She's not the one I'm trying to kill.
That's not a better again.
Can Shrike have heard this happening on open comms and
Oh, you
rolled
can
back
hear it
over here?
happening all right. And you can
Yeah.
see this half orbital body twitches and shudders and rolls, and you feel another wave of gravity and tide and heat and pressure.
See, it's a bad idea to be like, let me just like fucking punch this thing that is hurting me, because it's powerful in ways I don't understand. But that's the way that Shrike understands the world. My mech has a move. Let me
My mech has a move. Oh dear. Oh
of
no.
this. Um I have a
Arrow card
read.
to me in a hot air balloon flying into a power line. Is that good? Sorry, what?
I have a move called Crush and Devour, where I fly into a fit of rage and the ogress pulls apart and partially eats your opponent, which suffers 3 shell harm, and then the rage clouds my thinking, randomizing my steps. And the anger continues until I spend time outside of my X10. Uh,
So
what
I
if
went ham on a packet of crisps.
basically, what if I packet of crisps this thing?
Okay, it's weird that you're all being British and I don't like it. Roll to hurt someone.
Okay. Um,
Does that feel appropriate for Amanda X10? Let's find out.
Well, when I'm in, this is like a lead move, and
Oh, because you're not in a fight, I'm thinking.
can I
Well,
not do that when I'm not
well,
already in a fight, or
are
can
we
I
not
start a
about to
fight
be?
by
It
doing
feels like
that?
we're about
No, I'm not. I'm not adverse to it. I'm just thinking it's interesting to give you this move, and I want it to be a state where you can choose the outcomes.
Okay.
What are the options from your fun have a little snack time?
It's I just
You
they
just
just
do the
suffer.
damage.
I do damage. Yeah, I eat my opponent and hurt them.
And how much is 3 shell harm when it's a harm? Because that feels me.
I've like slots for harm to my shell.
Interesting. So that is significant. This is really big, though, and being really big is definitely an impact on health bar. Yeah, it's easy, right? You're being pinned, you're being hurt. It does hurt. It's hot, and it is weighty, and you can feel your muscles strain in a way that you've never felt in the last meal before. And the sight kind of white hot, even when you close your eyes, you can see this thing. You can feel it. You can feel it in subspace. You can feel it right down to the violet. You can see the core of this thing. And it's barely shielded. It's arms, and it is, you know, a core somewhere in there. And it is twitching pseudo muscle. And it's just easy to leap on it. There's a bestial part of you that does the timing thing that Eridani was able to work out. There is a cornered beast part of you that waits for the right moment and you lunge. And you just start chewing. There were people here apparently. There were people working on this thing.
Yeah.
There are spotlights on you, and it's so ridiculous you could laugh. What are they gonna do? They're literally just people. There aren't even any other orbital bodies here. No one's piloting this thing. No one
Yeah.
could pilot this thing.
It's just like a big, like, my mech's mouth is like the center of it, and it's big, and Shrike is just kind of like yelling into comms. If again this
saying?
like I think I'm yelling shut the fuck up. Is what I'm yelling at this thing while I'm destroying it. I don't want it in my brain and it hurt me. But it also is funny that like you're having this conversation, like the conversation that's happening is like why are you going to bat for your ex, and like trying to get back together, and Shrike just starts screaming shut the fuck up.
There's no pilot, there's no controls, there's not even like a primary like control column or anything like that yet. But there is a core and there is some animus to this thing, and it is lashing out.
Okay.
You know, being torn off of your orbital body. It's you can still feel it against your skin, but it doesn't get any deeper than that. You do get that momentary sensation, that sense memory of malice. Her. Hell, why not? You taste Malice's blood in your mouth as well. But
Real cocktail going on.
it's a real cocktail going on. But you're able to keep down devouring. It can't shrug you off. You're both at gunpoint. You're both at weapons drawn. You are facing each other over. In my mind, because Caroline's orbital body is a little smaller, you're kind of over her shoulders, facing down over each other, and you get the shut the fuck up, fuck off. constantly like wall of text in the transcription on your audio channels right now. What do you do?
You know what? I'm cold. I unleash my weapons. I'm going hot.
I think we're fighting, girls. Shit.
The girls are fighting for real.
Mm-hmm.
Fighting for real.
Who are you?
On
Who are you striking
the
out against?
battlefield of ideas.
Why, you, of course, Herodani.
Oh, beautiful! I just wanted to make sure that we're fighting. Okay, great.
Yes.
Let's go. Because your ex-girlfriend is very occupied, and because someone stole my kill. That's okay. That's fine. It's totally fine.
The
I'm
girl I
fine.
have a crush on is fighting me, etc.
Yes.
And that fun like reaction thing with the hands and the glasses, and yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, combat wise, we're going lead versus swallow. Lead versus
This is
swallow. Oh boy.
No, that's me.
No, Caroline's very good at swallow.
Oh, that's true. Carol. No. I think Shrike's got that unlocked.
Oh, yeah.
As we saw in the previous turn. Lead, follow, or sway. Pop it in the chat when you wanna. Let me know when you're ready, and we'll draw at dawn.
Roll 20 chat so the stream can see.
Roll 20 chat so the stream can see. Hey, stream. I hope you're having a good day. You know what you should do? You should donate to Medical Aid for Palestine. Yeah, if donate, and if we've got time at the end of the stream, we'll answer any questions about characters and so on.
Oh yeah.
Or just like a shout out as well. You're also welcome to be shot-otted. Every little bit helps. You know
Are
what
we
I'm
doing?
saying?
Are we doing it at the same time, or are we just bringing in the chat?
Yes.
I think
Pop it in the
so.
chat for now and let me know when you're ready, and I will ask you to give it a little pop.
Okay. My body is ready.
Egg 2020 says, I'm having a great time donating to Medical Aid for Palestinians and listening to this game.
Wow. Egg is doing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If we reach 2,500,
2020 times, I hear.
I'll shave my
Hmm.
hair into a mullet.
Shit. Wait, were you going to do that tomorrow anyway?
I was thinking about cutting my hair, but if we reach 2,500, I'll commit to a mullet.
I honestly feel as if this did not require
270
this does
smackaroos.
not require as much encouragement as this sounds. It feels like you could
Wait,
just do it.
gamers, encourage Reed to do something he was going to do
It's for
anyway.
medical aid.
It's for a
I'm
good
just gonna
cause.
have breakfast tomorrow. If we get to 2600, I will have breakfast.
I swear to God.
If we get to 2600, I'll get another signet tattoo.
Let's do it.
What? Did you say Signet or Sigma?
Signet.
It's
Oh,
very,
thank heavens.
very different.
Yeah, no, I'm a
Very
different kind of annoying person. All right. I'm ready.
No, that sounds sick as hell. All
Hit
right,
it.
fire at will. Let's check this shit out.
Okay.
Yeehaw.
You want to count it off through yeah, okay, there we go.
Okay, lead
Okay.
versus follow. Let me find my fucking PDF.
Da-da-da. Oh, I forgot the page number. No.
Oh no.
So it was follow versus lead. Follow lands.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh my god.
Oh, weird. Space Elvis was in the room for a second. That was spooky.
Well, what are you doing to me? What move
What
are
is
you
the move
using on
here,
me?
Roddy?
What do you want me to do to you? Oh, right. Sorry. I know it. I know what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna use one of my mech moves. It's called Bad Timing, which triggers if I'm following, which is a thing that I'm doing. I am able to get behind my target, and I will inject a psychoactive venom into their X10's metaspine, subjecting the pilot to painful and hallucinogenic system feedback, which will incur 3 strain, which you can reduce to 1 strain if you disable all of your hard points.
I don't think I'm going to do that.
Well, you're gonna have 3 strain there, bucko. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah, I expected as much.
Your vision swims. it's kind of hard to tell whether you're dying or fighting. You hear Nova call out your name, and you don't know if it's now or if it's then or if it's now.
Nova?
Caroline, what the fuck? Just let me go. Leave me here. Don't do it. Stop. Caroline. Arrow.
Yeah, I think she just kind of like shudders and like goes limp for for a second before sort of like pushing herself up and sort of like grope around for it, for anything, any contact.
It's just me.
Yeah. Um that's fun. Yep.
It's just you, and it's the wall of the cave, and it's an asteroid, and it's a Zolka, and it's a wrecked support ship.
And it's a shell crashing into the ship, my orbital body, and so on and so forth.
It's Frogtor. Of continuing the combat.
Yep, I think so. I'm not backing down unless you are.
No.
I've got mine.
Draw.
Oh, are we choosing whether we're leading or following again?
Lead, follow, or
sway.
courtesy. Sway. Yes, I always get confused with courtesy.
Lead, follow, or courtesy is sick, though. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
I am ready.
Let's go. Oh, hey,
Lead
look
and
at
follow.
that. I am going to try and negotiate. Because that's a move you can do while following.
Oh, lovely.
Interesting. I like that. I believe that's at least rising, isn't it? I think you could probably. Oh, you would need someone helping you to be sparking, but I think you're
Which-
automatically choosing from the rising list.
So yeah, I think Caroline sort of calls out, like, it doesn't have to be this way. If you take me back, I'm sure taking down a violet kind, even the corpse of one, will put you so far up in the rankings.
I'm already up in the rankings.
But this could get you into the stratosphere, the real rankings. There would at least be some other violent kinds you could beat. Wouldn't that be something?
Make a suggestion.
Yes.
You wouldn't just be good for a human.
Ooh.
Yeah, yes. And you can pick which of from either I'll give you important information in exchange for something, I'll change my course, at least for the time being, or I'll give you something useful in exchange for something. You get a pick.
Honestly, yeah, giving me something useful makes sense.
Yeah, that seems right.
Who's giving who what? A brown cow.
Yes. I'm giving severe advancement in exchange for taking Nova off the target priority, I think. Unless you have something you would rather propose.
No, that's perfect for me, actually. Yeah. Just to be sure that I'm thinking about this right, Fee.
Mm-hmm.
Nova is the mission. Yeah.
Well,
I thought
to get what led
Start with
to
what's going on
the
with
wreck
the
of Malice's
yeah, I think the
sword.
mission's the thing Shrike's eating.
Yeah, I'm
yes.
winning.
Yes, the machine. So the X10, the machine that.
The worst voice you've ever heard says, "I'm winning."
It's just Waluigi going, I'm gonna win.
Not that.
Actually, it's Wario. It's Wario.
Waluigi base boosted 10,000.
That's
yeah,
right.
literally, it's a Waluigi psychic scream. I'm winning.
Oh my god.
It piped directly into your
With
head.
his dialogue.
It's really fun. Yeah, I think I'll take it.
Yeah. So I think, you know, Caroline's making a couple of like very uncoordinated swings and is like,
Mhm.
come on, hotshot, take me down. This will take you all the way to the top, and I know you'd love to be on top.
You know, there was this line that was said about you be better than a human. And while this fighting is going on, she says, you're not human. How the fuck would you know? And
Well,
then the fighting continues.
yeah. I used to be. Doesn't that count for something? And then immediate like hit to the face or something.
You are socked, your head spins, your vision sort of, you're back in the asteroid field and then you're back again. And you suddenly realize Nova's gone.
I did it! Yay! Why does it hurt so much? Oh, that's the facial wound, right? Ow! Ow! Ow!
Like, someone alerts you, someone pings you over general comms. Kid, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to wreck everything. Put that thing down.
I think Shrike still just destroying things? Because I think
It
that's
sounded
what
like you're
she's
in some sort
doing.
of mindless rage
I'm
of
in
some
some
kind.
kind of mindless rage, and I'm destroying things currently. Like, there's people. Like, it's a red alert. Like, in the room, like, one room over, like, there's red lights and sirens going on. I don't know how they're trying to, like, put it down, but Shrike is in an uncontrollable rage and destroying whatever she can reach.
Well, they had a big bolt to try and kill it if it started going bonkers, but you tore that out. Then they activated the fire suppression system, which didn't do a great deal, and now you're covered in foam. And then
The
that
group
caught fire,
returns.
which is unfortunate.
Shrike looks like a
And
flaming demon from hell. Did you, like, mute her while you were having that conversation? Because she's still screaming.
uh, I'm gonna say yes, but Nova is also now here for the record.
Okay. Is I'm just gonna take a big ol' swing at her.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
I
think
can
you
write
lunged for
down.
her. Is this thing still in your mouth?
Definitely, yeah. It's like, so, like,
Lunge for
I'm
her, and
covered
the
in.
arm also lunges.
Yeah, shit. It's, like, stuck in, like, my big mech teeth.
And it pours down, and you pour down, and it doesn't quite get maliced, but what was left of Nova's X10 is split partially. A chunk is torn out of its shoulder, and she staggers back. You're going to ruin everything. What are you doing?
Uh, I am.
She's doing the classic anime thing of holding her shoulder with her other hand.
Okay, yeah, if this is an anime, like, scene where we're, like, stanced up, she's, like, on one side holding her shoulder, and I'm, like, stanced up, like, bearing down on her, and Nova is just yelling, "Get out of my head."
I was in your fucking head. I. This was going to be what I was going to use to get back to fucking Cerulean. I might have finally put my feet in the fucking sand.
Are you fucking
Why
serious?
are
They're
you
never
eating
taking
it?
us back. We have to. They're never taking us back. We have to take what's up here to survive.
We have to eat them?
I'm going to eat you. Crunches through the arm of the mech pilot. Like, crunches through what's stuck of the arm in her mouth so she can open it again. And it's like, if you don't, shut up.
You want me to just back down while you wreck this thing?
We're never going home.
Then where the fuck is home? Because this sure doesn't feel like it. If it was home, my sister would still be here.
You think that there's...
Why can't there
You
be?
had somewhere to go back to? Lucky you. Home doesn't exist. Your sister isn't coming back, and they're never taking us back. Home isn't real. And I think that I'm going to charge again.
I mean, it's easy. It's so easy. You fed. You're full. And like it's just so easy. You're well sated after a meal, and she's tired. She's been out here living on scraps for months.
Can't live on dreams.
You can take the leg. Hell, take
Yeah.
another arm. It's easy.
Yeah.
When your jaws flex, you can feel the gravity you exert.
And it feels good to Shrike.
It feels so good. You're powerful.
Worst voice you've ever heard, I'm winning.
You are.
She's just gonna keep doing this shit unless someone intervenes.
She does try to flee. Do you let her?
No, I don't think so. If she runs away, I'm going to, like, looking like hell, on fire, like, bits of metal, like, shredded into, like, the mouth of my cockpit, and probably also, like, having scratched up my whole, like, front, because I'm messy. I'm eating messily. Like, looking like, something out of a horror movie. Like, grab at, like, her waist as she tries to run and, like, holds her close. And I think says again, like, there's nothing for us. It isn't real. And yeah. Just chomps.
Caroline, your comms open and you get a pre-recorded message.
Oh, fun.
I was going to open this and say I was sorry, and I don't know why. I'm sorry you died, I suppose. Yeah, you didn't deserve that. I know you were trying to look out for me, and I know whatever this was, I think it was you trying to look out for me too, and... I put my feet in holographic sand and wiggled my toes too many times. My sister crashed out of the program and then crashed out of living. You fucking died and they just stapled you back together. Fuck. I'm sorry. It might have been nice to get to know the new you.
I frantically reach out. Is she still there?
No.
I send a message over comms to everyone else. I will never forgive you. And she flees. And I don't think anyone can catch up with her because she has a distance of 4. She's good at staying away and putting up walls and never fucking letting anyone in. And god damn it, why should I? Because this is what happens. You let someone in and then they die. You let someone in and then you die. It's not worth it. And I'm going to run to the nearest celestial base I can. But I'm not staying here anymore.
That's so fair. This is such a beat up Caroline session.
No, I love it. It's great.
She's just the tragic hero of the story,
Hero
I
in
feel like.
quotes.
So,
But yes, yeah, this is sad. Do you try to stop her, Eridani?
oh, we don't see it.
Oh, okay.
So, Juliet gets demoted for this.
Ugh.
She's now a quaternary director. It's the next morning, and Eridani, you're doing laps. You've got the morning off. 12 laps. 12 laps around the promenade deck. And Holden Hall, your SO, says, can't always pick our teams, right, kid?
No.
You do the best with what you have. And you do what you can to be the best to fill in the gaps. At least that's what I always think.
Can't pick our teams, we can pick our victory conditions.
Yeah, that's a good one. They don't pat you on the shoulder.
That feels like failure.
It's blacklisted. It was a unsanctioned mission. Whatever is left on the planet's surface is left there. If Shrike thought there wasn't a home before, there's not a home for her now.
I'm wondering.
Caroline is marked as died again. Caroline is given a second funeral with full honors. A second marker is put down for her right next to the first, and there is just some quiet corner of the station with 2 funerary plaques. Both same name, different dates. Reed, sorry.
Shit. I was going to say I wonder if Shrike left as well, but I don't think she had the presence of mind.
What did it say? When do you leave that move?
Like, how does Shrike get back? / does she?
Feeling of anger will refuse to dissipate until you spend some time outside of your ex-tab.
Yeah. So, I guess
How's the celestial embrace, Caroline?
I think she's back to being a perfect princess. This time she's a perfect martyr princess with her pain and her tragedy and the hell that is her life poured out onto the propaganda for everyone to see. This time she is not praised for what she is, but what has happened to her. It still sucks. She plays that message every day. She throws darts at a picture of Shrike's face. You know, normal stuff.
Well-adjusted goals. So, just to wrap up, little thing I like to do at the end of all of my games nowadays. Let's make sure that that's properly on screen on 20. Can everyone boot up the text tool real quick? And what did we learn today?
Oh my
Just
God.
just a little
Oh my-
noodle of some
oh
little
my-
noodle of something. What did we learn today, guys?
Good question.
That's why they call me the questioner.
Yeah, not the celestial mistress or anything. It's the questioner.
The questioner.
Yep.
I think we learned you don't have to go that distance for your ex.
Depends on the X. Depends on the distance.
Yeah. I think we learned being cannibalized is a bad way to go.
The goo is pretty important. I agree with this statement. Oh, are we creating text? Cannibalism is bad.
Oh yeah, feel free to add stuff here. By all means. Boot up the text tool. Give it a go.
Okay. I'm messing around with Roll20. Let's go.
Perfect. It's normal for girls.
It is, truly.
Let's take a beat. How are we feeling after that, gamers? Was that satisfying for anyone? Did anyone have anything that they really wanted to get on screen that they weren't able to get to? How did that feel?
I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
In the chat, we've got "Goddammit Fee." I can't imagine why that would have come up. Betcha can't just have one, chomp. The goo essential. The goo is pretty important. The goo, the bad, and the heartbreak. Oh no, that's the good. Well, you have all crafted a really effective mech tragedy. Bravo, standing ovation, claps, electric, heartbreaking, gorgeous. Thank you, Violet chorus. Well, there you go. Oh, wasn't that sweet? My cold black heart is growing 4 sizes. Read,
I
please.
would like actually to have a closing shot of Shrike
Please.
because I don't think we got where she has ended up. And I think that we have Shrike for the first time in her life doing pull-ups inside of a reinforced sort of cell that's still in the space station, training for the first time in her life. And it's like there's like a plexiglass sort of vibe to it, and she can kind of see like through like a crooked hallway the scoreboard, and her name is not on there and Eridani's is at the top.
Hey, well, I'm glad
Shrike's
you back.
That's all.
Shrike's Hannibal Lecter now.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Here's
literally...
a question. Here's a question, because Shrike did proposition Eridani for a fight. Does that end up with them just hooking up instead?
After this, I think that I think with Shrike, it is usually one leads into the other situation.
Right. We are sparring like Pacific Rim style
yeah.
with staffs and stuff, and then we end up making out on the training floor.
Exactly. It's like a switch fight situation every time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that Shrike is maybe surprised slash like Shrike has a moment of recognizing the taste of your blood, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You just have that familiar taste, and you're like, I can't place it.
Brings it all back around.
Oh, maybe you bite my lip.
All back to you.
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
that's what
That's
it
good.
is, yeah. I
Oh
bite you
damn!
too hard and get like a flashback when I taste your blood.
We got $69 from Anonymous. Thank you, Anonymous. Nice. And we got $100 from Anonymous saying for the mullet and the tattoo, which is actually my house motto, which is kind of weird. It is actually over my door. We unfortunately got up to £2,329 so far, but hey, there's still time. You know, I
There's
may
still
still have
time.
breakfast if we get to 2,600. Who can say? Infinite universe, all things are possible.
It's anyone's
Um,
game.
it's anyone's game, truly. Hey, you know, this was a good ass game. Violet Core is it was on Kickstarter, which is how I've got the backers edition. There is going to be a full, at least a PDF release. The game is by Sarah Carapace, who is a very talented designer. I think we can all agree with that. There's some really fun world building shit in there. I would heartily recommend when it's publicly available, following up on that. It looks like a good time. In the meantime, you can follow her at sarahcarapace.tumblr.com. I have been Fee T Hazard. I use the she in hers. You can find me at Philo Hazard pretty much anywhere that good homosexuality is sold. I do tabletop games. I do podcasts. I do art sometimes, if I may be so bold. Artie,
Yeah.
tell me things about you.
Oh, okay. Well, hi. You could find me at Solace Gray with an E on itch. I wrote one game. It's there if you want it. That's it.
That's a good ass game. I like Let Me Follow a lot. Let's go to Monica.
Hi, I've been Monica, she, her, and if you would like to see my reblogs and occasional song recommendations, you can follow me on Tumblr at arcanecandelabra.tumblr.com.
Oh, and finally, Reed.
Hi, my name is Reed. I use he, they pronouns. I am not really anywhere and don't really have anything up, but I'm never learned to read on Discord. If you're in the server and want to say hi.
Neat. Just to finish off, Egg 2020 says, if this was an anime, how would you all be animated? What would your music themes sound like? It's Madhouse, unfortunately, so we are going to bankrupt the studio again, but the music will be really good, so swings and roundabouts, right? I think that's us for it. Please stick around. I'm sure we've got a really cool game coming up. What does it look like, gamers? Anyone got
I
it
think
open?
it's Heart off the top of my head.
Ooh,
The City Beneath? I love that
Yeah,
game.
The
yeah,
very
it's a
same.
good
good
game.
game.
Damn. Okay, I've heard some of the prep for that game. That actually doesn't. You know what? I might stick around and give that a cheeky peek myself.
Good luck,
Um,
Delvers. Don't die
good
too hard.
good luck, Delvers. Don't die or worse. Speaking of dying or worse, thank you so much for joining us on this. What a tremendous time. And
Thank you for
thank you
running,
all for
Fee.
playing.
Yeah,
No,
thank you so much. This was a
great game
joy.
to play.
Oh, it was a delight to play with you, honestly. Yeah, call it. Slam that shit shut. Let's roll. We're hitting the road.
And cut.
We're all getting into
In
our
the